Pasha Paroh, YNet7. Thank you for tuning. We got a lot to cover today. This is deep. This is real deep. We great. I'm great. We great. Sail around the world on this one. All right. Thank you for being here. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you're here to get this. You're here to get it. You know what I mean? All right. Let's get to it. All right. Cool. So, right away, what I want to jump into is, let's start here. Let's start with this right here. Right. Real simple. We're gonna warm up into this. You know what I mean? If you haven't already, I gave some of y'all a warning this was coming. I don't know if, oh yeah, I guess it's for some of y'all celebrating that Thanksgiving or whatever y'all do this time of year. That's not my thing. I don't celebrate holidays, but if you enjoying yourself, then I was gonna say get you some popcorn, but maybe you need to go ahead and grab you a plate, that third, fourth, fifth plate, whatever you on, that third, fourth, fifth dessert, whatever you got. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe you are just gonna pop some popcorn, sit back, enjoy this. You know what I mean? Because we ready to go in all the way. Pasha Paroh. All right. So, you know what I mean? Like, there's levels to everything, right? Levels to the shit. So, if you at one level and someone else is up at this level, okay? And they, you know, whether you ask for it or not, if they say to you, I'm gonna throw down a rope for you, right? I'm gonna help you up out of that hole, up out of that situation. I'm gonna drop you a rope. I'm gonna drop you a line. You got multiple choices at that point. You got multiple choices. You can ignore the shit. You can refuse it. You can say thank you. You may be eager just to receive, you know what I'm saying, the rope, so you can tie yourself up, get ready, get the fuck up out of there. You know what I'm saying? You may start thinking about what you're going to do when you get up or get out. Or you always know there's this one person like this is going to be like, you always talking down to somebody. Right? It's always that one person. This guy ruined the moment. You always talking down to somebody. And that's because they don't know their position in life. They don't realize that if the person A is up here and they down here, the sound is going to come from above. Because you're on a lower level, it's going to sound like they talking down to you because it's coming from above. You're going to feel like you in a lesser state naturally because you are. Cast that emotional shit away, all right? So, let's get into this. What we talking about today, Posh? All right. I mean, if you don't know, just say you don't know, okay? We're going to run through this etymology real quick because we got a lot to cover. I'm not even going to, we got a lot to do, okay? We got a lot to do. We ready to do it. So here go ego, all right? Because what this is building up to is egomania. I actually realized I'm always studying people. You guys know that. That's why some of y'all like to be around me, and that's why some of y'all run from me. You know what I mean? Because we either going to learn together or you going to not want to be learned about, and you going to go run and hide. You going to act like you don't see us here, all that shit. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm the type of person, I come to your channel, I come to your page, I support, I expect the same in return, or else there's some sort of disconnect. You know what I mean? Either that's why I keep my circle small, so I can manage all the relationships effectively. I have high quality involvement, engagement with the people around me, or else what the fuck are we doing, right? So, ego, 1789, but probably earlier, as suggested from such formations as egotism in 1714. Borrowed, right, from Latin ego, one, the sense of conceit, okay? The sense of conceit. And then egotism is first recorded in English in 1891, okay? So what is conceit? And then you see the psychoanalytic sense of the conscious part of the mind appeared in 1910, okay? So that's later on. So what is conceit? Oh, let me see. Let me get this. Let me pull Facebook up real quick. I'll be trying to be available for y'all questions and stuff while we watching, but I can see when y'all. Hold on, let me turn this down. I can see when y'all tune in, but I gotta figure out how to make it so I can see the comments. Anyway, we'll work on that later. So, conceit is something conceived in the mind, the thought, the notion, right? This is very important. It's very important because I've been seeing a lot of arguing, a lot of bickering. I'm going to tell you why it's all a waste of time. People are bickering over, follow your mind. You know, you're having great thoughts. And then people are like, no, don't follow the mind. Follow your heart. Your heart is where the truth lies. And blah, 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 blah. And it's like a war of heart people and mind people against who's right. And I'm going to show you today how they both wrong. United we stand, divided we fall. People, y'all ain't... I'm surprised this came out of the supposed conscious community, though. But when I saw this, I saw all the shit that I didn't see before. This is why I really enjoy just being able to study people. Because observation is a critical element, component, whatever you want to call it, of knowledge. Okay? So we're going to get to that. We're going to get to it. Let's get back to it. All right? So, conceit. So look at the irony of this bullshit. The groups are arguing about who's right, the mind or the heart, when either way, it's something that either one of those is something that's conceived in the mind. It's a thought. It's a notion. It's still conceit. You're suffering from ego. We're going to break this down, though. We're going to break this down further, all right? Let's see here. What is mania? Okay? Because the other part of it is egomania. Okay? So mania is derangement, frenzy. All right? So you're in a conceit, frenzy. The derangement based on conceit, madness, insanity. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is why I have few I don't do titles, but this is why I have few friends to begin with. Because when you start to really talk to people, I want to get to know you right away. Let's not waste time. Like, I'm not gonna be, oh, that's my peoples. 1 year from now, and they be like, well, what do they? I don't know. Nah, bro, we ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna be rolling like that. Like, we got, you know what I mean? And then when you start learning about people, the way, you know, when you're on the level I'm on, and people like me, you know, we're diving deep, so we learn shit about you that maybe you didn't know about yourself, or you don't want to know about yourself, and then we become your enemy because, you know, we speak the truth, and sometimes people don't like the truth, right? So you're in a conceit frenzy, a frenzy of conceit. Those sharks, they're in a frenzy of conceit, and they don't realize it. Okay, what is madness? 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 Okay, so that's egomania. You got it? Sense of conceit, a frenzy. All right, I think you got it. Okay, so now we got that out of the way. Okay, again, excuse me. If you don't know, just say you don't know. Okay, just say you don't know. It's that simple, you know. And then you got the people. What started me on this journey is a couple things, like this last little journey right here, this quest on, I didn't really know. I knew about it, but when I started looking into it, I was like, oh, this is another gold mine right here. Egomania. All right. So we all know someone that has to have the last word. So I started researching that because I'm gonna get to it in the latter part of the video. We're gonna review the Facebook post. You know, I like to have the, you know what I mean, to show you how I got here, because it represents things that are going on in your life too, that you're dealing with in different ways, and you can see it, we can talk about it, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so that's how we growing. All right, that's how we healing each other. Okay, because we all got something to grow towards, and we all growing from something. Okay, so, but if you don't know, just say you don't know. And then some people have to have the last word and shit, even though they may not know, and it's because the ego. We already knew that part, but now we got a clearer definition. It's because of the conceit frenzy. It's because of they're deranged. All right, we're gonna get into this. We're gonna break this down. Okay, so like I said, some of y'all are in this huge debate of who's right, the heart or the mind. Which one should we follow? Blah, 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 right? And you got people that make it sound so good, just like when they told you that you was going to get sick if you didn't. It sounded so good, and y'all ran out and got and then now you look at y'all, right? This is why they say I'm emotionally unavailable. And I'll be like, thank you very much. Yes, I am emotionally unavailable, because I'm not emotional. Like, you're not, like, hold on, wait, that don't make sense. I see, when you're emotionally unavailable, right, you see things in your observation that other people don't see, because they emotions all in the way and shit. They all emotional and shit, right? So, let's get to this. Where we at? Let me check my notes. Where I had this all planned out. I got it mapped out for you. All right. Yep. So we've been seeing the people arguing, and this is how we found a place where egomania existed. That I never expected it, because this conversation caused me to realize what I was witnessing was actually a form of egomania. And as I was thinking about egomania and partaking in this conversation, this exchange, I realized how similar it was. You know, I'm a man of equations, not variables. Okay? You guys know what that means, or else watch some of the other videos. If you knew, we'll break it down for you. I already broke it down for you in the past. So, when I started realizing that all the different variables that could go into that, I was like, yo, fucking, it's a lot. Oh, right? It was one of them type of moments. So, I'm really excited to bring this to you today. We're going to cover it all. But yeah, you got people arguing about what's right, the heart or the mind, and I'm going to show you how they both wrong. Thank you for joining. What up, Avia? If I pronounced that right. So, here's what we gotta get into, because we gotta break this all the way down. So we gotta start where it counts. Let's go to one of my favorite movies real quick. Okay, let me pull this up. Give me a second. All right, here we are. We're gonna go to The Last Dragon. Right? Like, I don't know who, if you missed this, if you missed this movie, you need to go watch it right now. I mean, the next Netflix and chill, I don't even know if it's on Netflix, but whatever it is, the next moment you got, the next opportunity, that's what you need to be watching if you haven't already. Okay, it's that simple. All right, for real. Okay, because everything you need to know about the fucking world is in this movie. All right, so let's get to it. If we go down here to, remember, they're arguing about who's right, the heart or the mind. And if we go, now this is a little web page, because I was gonna play the clip, but I figured that might be like a some copyright strike, some little bullshit. So I found this, and I was like, I'll do this instead of showing the actual video. But the favorite part, I should get the clip. Maybe I'll go get the clip and put the last fight scene on my Facebook page. So if you don't know, hop on my Facebook page and I'll put the clip on there for you to see it. It's really dope. He got the flashbacks going through the movie. And this quote right here, number 6, they got it on this page, it's number 6. But it's right here. There is one place you have not looked. He'd be like this little sensei. There is one place you have not looked, and it is there, only there, that you shall find the master. You see what I'm saying? You looking for it in your mind. You looking for it in your heart. You spending all this time like Hone's gonna show you guys here later on, right? Meditating and doing all this shit, right? Going within yourself. And what I realized like 15 years ago is the more time you spend inside yourself, okay? When you spend enough time inside yourself, you realize that what you're looking for isn't inside of you. It's not inside of you. That's the rabbit hole. The rabbit hole takes you to a wormhole that takes you to another fucking dimension, and you're no longer inside of yourself when you find what you're really looking for. So the whole argument about the mind, the whole argument about the mind or the heart, which one should you listen to, which one should you follow? They're both wrong. We're gonna get through this today. So to recap real quick, there is one place. This is from The Last Dragon. All right, go back and watch this movie if you haven't, or rewatch it if you need to. There is one place that you have not looked, and it is there, only there, that you shall find the master. I'm going to break it all the way down for you. Okay, so let's get it. Let's get it. All right, so do I want to do this first, or do I want to go here? Let's go here first. Okay, we'll come back to the ego. All right. Matter of fact, I'll say that for last because that'll be the good cover. So there's this right here, right? The vessel of the body. Some R.W. Evans B.D.com / whatever, right? Right here. So I thought it was a pretty good example of what I'm presenting here, and I wanted to use it for you. Okay. Now you guys know I'm not biblical, I'm not religious, but you know, to help some people get it, here you go. I got two good examples for you. So they're using, in this case, the Thessalonians 4:4-7, if that's how you say it. I ain't been to church in like 20 years. Don't fault me. If you know how to say it to yourself. Okay, so, right, he's got, it reads a certain way. If you go look at the passage, the next one I got the actual quote from the Bible, and it's saying, at best, a vessel is only a frail thing. The passage from 4:7 is talking about how the body is. Matter of fact, here it goes down here. What it say? That every one of you should know how to possess his vessel in sanctification and honor. All right, that's the first whatever line or whatever it's called. So his reflection on that is, at best, a vessel is only a frail thing. Let it be of gold or silver. Time and use makes flaws in it, and its day soon pass, right? Okay, so when you come down here and look at what he was expanding on, he says, our bodies are vessels. And you know what? It could be a she. So, women, excuse me. It could be a she. So he or she is saying, our bodies are vessels. They are frail enough, made of dust and returning to dust, right? They can do nothing of themselves. This is key to see your mind, your heart. Which one should we listen to? Your body, your mind, and your heart is part of the body. Your mind and your heart is part of the vessel. Just like the engine and the brakes are part of your car. Okay? And before Tesla, they couldn't do anything without you, all right? So, what I'm getting at is, you are not the car, though. Okay? All right, so, our bodies are vessels. They are frail enough, made of dust, and returning to dust. They can do nothing of themselves. If there be not, here I am. If there be not soul and spirit to put them to use, they are as lifeless and unserviceable as any other, and are put out to the way as useless. You looking at the mind, you looking at the heart. Why? Because you love the flesh. Why? Because you're conceited. Your ego has you in love with the flesh. And you don't realize you have disconnected from your higher selves, from the Most High, from the universe, from the atmosphere. Check out my song, Atmosphere, on YouTube. Pasha Paroh, Atmosphere. Okay? This is why certain people connect to my tracks and some of y'all don't. There's levels to this shit like we talked about. I'm throwing you down a rope. All right, let's look at the next example. You guys get that one. Spend more time on it at your leisure. The next one is Corinthians 3 through 1 through 20 something. It's really this part here that I want to get over to you, and then it goes on, and I might as well just get that to y'all because I thought there was some elements in there that kind of made sense. So it won't take long. Let's get to it, and then we'll move on, because after I show you this way they're saying it, I'm gonna show you how it's the same thing in law. See, this is what I'm saying. There's levels to this shit. All right. So we went to the etymology. We in the biblical state now. Then we're gonna go to the law books for you. Okay. So it says, but I, brothers, could not address you as spiritual people. This is why you separated from a lot of people. Excuse me. This is why you have separated from a lot of people. And this is why a lot of people don't want to be around you, because your standard, right, is too high for them. Your vibration is too high for them. Like we've been talking about recently, you're like being in a microwave to them, and you cook them every time they come around, so they don't like being cooked, okay? You're deep frying turkeys nowadays. It's 2021. You're deep frying turkeys out here. We talked about it in the previous video, stop supporting the turkeys, okay? Some of y'all deep fried turkeys, all right? That's why they're not around you. Okay, so look. It says, but I, brothers, could not address you as spiritual people, but as people of the flesh. I'm not even religious. I don't even know this stuff. But I did a search, and I was like, this is perfect. Okay, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't go to church. Okay? But this tells the same story I'm trying to tell you. So, but I, brothers, could not address you as spiritual people, but people of the flesh, as infants in Christ. Now, again, I'm not into all that shit, but if you are, cool. If you're not, just follow along in the story. Don't get caught up on the wordplay and shit like that, okay? So, because this is cool, this totally relates to what you get ready to see once we get to the Facebook later, okay? Because there's levels to this shit. So, could not address you as spiritual people, but as people of the flesh, as infants in Christ. I fed you with milk, not solid food, for you were not ready for it. You see what I'm saying? This is why when you come and hit them with the truth, they like, you know what I mean? Get back, you know what I mean? You're like evil because they're not ready for the real food yet. They're not ready for the real food. They think they are, but they don't like it. Okay. So it says, and even now you are not yet ready. For you are still of the flesh. See, when you arguing about the mind and the heart, it's because why? Why did I say earlier? Because you are suffering from egomania that has you in love with the flesh. This is why you don't know the real you. This is why I got the song Not Man-Made. I know the real you, the real you. That ain't the real you. You know what I'm saying? All right, so what you think is the real you ain't the real you, people. All right, come on, let's get this. Okay, so, and even now you are not ready, for you are still of the flesh. For while there is jealousy and strife among you, Are you not of the flesh and behaving only in a human way? See, you arguing about the mind, no, the heart, the mind, the heart. You're wrong, I'm right. Right? That's human shit, man. We gods, little God. We gods and goddesses over here. It's why that's 7. This is why they don't like your vibration. You always seem to be talking down to them. Why? Because you up here. You can't help it. Because you giving them the vibration on how to get up here, but they still down here in the flesh. They conceited. They ego. Look at this shit. I ain't making this shit up. I can't make this up. It's right here for you. Corinthians something. 1 Corinthians, some number 2 number. There you go. All right. So for when one says, I follow Paul, and another says, I follow Apollos, are you not being merely human? Like, y'all arguing about who you gonna follow. Why? Because you trapped in the flesh. Because once you recognize the truth, all the other bullshit goes away. Like I said, if I support you and you don't support me, the disconnect ain't between me and you. The disconnect between you and the Most High. See, when you look on the back of that dollar, you see that all-seeing eye on the pyramid. And then you see the Anuit Coeptus on top of it. There's 3 translations for that. He favors our undertaking. He approves of our mission. And then the most uncommon one is a circuit with the sky is complete. See? That's why these are called not locks, but antenna. What are you connected with? Oh, you not. Why? Because you in conceit. You in love with the flesh. Everything for you has to come from within. Because it's got to be about you. So let's continue. We're here. 5. What then is Apollos? What is Paul? Servants through whom you believed, as the Lord assigned to each. I planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the growth, okay? Now remember, you little God, so every time you see that, just put yourself there. I'm not saying don't give credit, alhamdulillah, but we little God, so I'm trying to get you to understand. You looking at the mind and heart, and you don't realize that it's you out there playing PlayStation, playing The Sims, and this body, this avatar, is what's moving around on the screen, and you up there smoking the L with your peoples, talking about past the still water. You great, take this character to the next level. So neither he who plants nor he who waters is anything. Again, number 7 here. So neither he who plants nor he who waters is anything, but only God who gives the growth. He who plants and he who waters are one, and each will receive his wages according to his labor. Oh, we gotta get into this because you gotta see the moment in how this all connects in law. For we are God's fellow workers. You are God's field, God's building, right? Okay. Now, according to the grace of God given to me, like a skilled master builder, I laid a foundation, and someone else is building upon it. This is why you got to know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, someone else can take over your mind. Someone else can take over your heart. Some of y'all around here right now talking about, they broke my heart. Why? How they do that? How someone else break your heart? You see? Because when it comes down to what you want to complain about, you recognize shit comes from outside of you. It's not inside of you, right? But when it's about taking responsibility, it's no, I don't want to take responsibility. It's everything else but me. Some fucking bullshit is what it is. That's why they call this mindset the minority or of like child, because minority doesn't mean skin color. It means competency. Oh, this is why people don't like me. I know. This is why they don't like you too. But this is why we like each other. So we gonna keep it going here, okay? That's why they act like they don't see you. That's why they act like they don't see me. But we see each other, okay? So, let's get going here. So, for no one can lay a foundation other than with that which is laid. All right? And you see what they say there. I ain't gonna worry about that part. So, now, if anyone builds on the foundation with gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, straw. See, this is why I like this part. This is the three little pigs here for you. You know what I'm saying? This is the three little pigs here. I see the three little pigs in this part. Okay? So now, if anyone builds on the foundation with gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, straw, each one's work will become manifest, for the day will disclose it, because it will be revealed by fire, and the fire will test what sort of work each one has done. See, the fire is the truth, and I didn't even realize when I was talking about the microwave is cooking these motherfuckers. Here you go. See, because they gonna build up this little shit, and they gonna put it together. They gonna be like, it's the heart. See, it's the mind. They building this shit, right? And it's all manifesting for them. And they feel like they know what the fuck they talking about. And they standing on their little shit. And then you come with the truth that's like a motherfucking blowtorch, solar flare from the sun. And that shit catch a blaze. And they up in that motherfucker talking, it's hot. It's hot. Get the fuck out of here. So if the work that anyone has built on the foundation survives, he will receive a reward. If anyone's work is burned up, he will suffer loss, though he himself will be saved, but only as through fire. Okay? This is why you make them hot. This is why they be hot with you. You see that? This is why they be hot with you. So let no one deceive himself. Oh, I skipped the part. Do you not know that you are God's temple and that God's spirit dwells in you? What should I follow, the mind or the heart? Neither, because either one of that is the fucking playing the PlayStation 5. Y'all wasting y'all time debating this shit. But I know what level you on. So I'm trying to throw you the rope. Say, pick your head up. Chin up. Chin up, motherfucker. Chin up. It's up there. It's out here. So if anyone destroys God's temple, God will destroy him. See, that's why that video I had, peace or inner conflict. That's why you're in inner conflict if you don't know this shit. For God's temple is holy and you are that temple. Okay? The flesh is the temple. That you, the real you, the spirit, the soul, the whatever, be in there operating shit. Your little PlayStation controller, you sitting there in another dimension going... Right? And your body down here doing, and then when you put the controller down to go get your drink, the body over there talking about, yeah, man, I be down here running the shit. My heart. I'll be following my heart. You know what I'm saying? And then the other little avatar controller person is over there like, nah, man, I be listening to my mind. My mind be telling me what to do. And then you come back, pick up the controller. They be like, man, and then they start moving around. They think they in control. There's levels to the shit. We can't, people on our level can't stay down on that level too long. It's called atrophy. So we can only throw you the rope, come down we can't, and just, and if you want to get pulled up, let's pull you up. We'll fish you out. All right, so where we at? You are the temple. Let no one deceive himself. If anyone among you thinks that he is wise in this age, let him become a fool that he may become wise. See? For the wisdom of this world is folly with God. That's why you got people saying, I'm not of the earth, I'm not of the world, I'm in the world, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Y'all still down here. I'm right. My heart, my mind. I follow this person, but not you. And I know you are, but what am I? Shut the fuck up. And listen sometime, and you can learn. Then you call us rude when we just walk away from y'all motherfuckers like, man, this is bullshit. I'm going over here because I think this person over here might actually listen and learn something. Wasting my time with this one. Because we were sent down here on a contract to do this work. Y'all playing. All right? So, for the wisdom, we'll finish this out and then we'll move on. So, for the wisdom of this world is folly, for it is written, he catches the wise in their craftiness. That's why they can't fool you. That's why they don't like you, because they can't fool you. All that little magician tricks they be running game when everybody else, you just be sitting there like, oh, okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to just let you think you getting ahead because I'm going to go ahead and pimp you out since that's how you like to prostitute. All right, I'm going to do this. And then that way when you do that, it'll do this. And then that, and then boom, and then I'll get, right, okay, since that's how you, go ahead. You playing the hell out of me. Yeah, I didn't even know that. Oh, okay, And then 6 months later, like, how the fuck Pasha still come out on top? How the fuck you still come out on top? You. Why? For the wisdom of this world is folly with the gods. For it is written, he catches the wise in their craftiness. That's why they don't like you. You bringing out shit you weren't supposed to know about them. And again, the Lord knows the thoughts of the wise, that they are futile. So let no one boast in men. I follow this one, I follow that one. I don't fuck with you. Okay, cool. For all things are yours. That's why we omnipresent. Y'all trapped in the body. I can do. And we like, okay, that's what we need. Where the fuck did you get the idea from? I don't know. It came from out there, but this is what we need to do. We see the people in true can admit, I'm connected with some shit. I can't explain it. I'm connected with something out there. Even if you don't know exactly how to explain it, the real motherfuckers know it come from out there, or wherever you want to point to. And here is just parts of the vessel. But who's driving the car? Who's operating the car, rather? Because, we travelers here, we don't drive. So it says, for all things are yours, whether Paul or Apollos or Cephas or the world or life or death or present or future, all are yours. Excuse me. And it says, and you are Christ. And Christ is God. That's how it says it there. So, like I said, you, okay? Know the real you. Let me see here where I'm at. Okay, yep. Okay, now we gonna go into this. Yep, right where I want to be. All right. So now, check this out. This is how the law is telling you the same thing. See, you don't need a driver's license to operate your automobile. Okay? I did a video on it. Go check it out. However, the reason why they claim that you need one to operate in commerce is because your body is the vessel and your spirit or soul or higher self or whatever you want to call it is the operator. This is why they use admiralty law. All right? This is from your favorite famous Wikipedia. Okay? And it scrolls down here under jurisdiction. Okay? In the United States, the federal district courts have jurisdiction over all admiralty and maritime actions. See this in the United States Code. All right? In recent years, a non-historically based conspiracy argument used by tax protesters is that an American court displaying an American flag with gold fringe is in fact an admiralty court and thus has no jurisdiction. Courts have repeatedly dismissed this as frivolous. In the United States versus Greenstreet, the court summarized their findings to this argument with, unfortunately for defendant Greenstreet, the core is not a determinant for jurisdiction. All right, so here we go. Applicable law. This is the interesting part. This is the part you need for it to start to make sense. So, a state court hearing an admiralty or maritime case. See, this is why the argument of the gold fringe they can get rid of. You know, for the Moors out there and stuff, right? But what they have done is they have associated you with being a vessel. Why is that important? Because then they can categorize you as a ship. This is your ship. Your spirit or soul is the operator of the ship. This is the technicality that allows the what like the Moors may say is they've pulled the law of the water over the land. This is how they did it. Because they're looking at you, the physical, the flesh, as the vessel. Your heart, your mind is the car. It's all part of the car. But you are not the car. Check this out. All right. So, a state court hearing an admiralty or maritime case is required to apply the admiralty and maritime law. Excuse me. Even if it conflicts with the law of the state under a doctrine known as the reverse Erie doctrine. See, this is why you can't talk to everybody. They think they running off of their mouth talking about this and that because they're egomaniacs too. All right? It's really simple. But you got to get to the complex part. It's the complexity that makes it simple, not the simpleness that makes it. It's just not simple. The complexity, understanding the complexity makes it simple. And then, anyway, so the Erie doctrine derived from Erie Railroad Company versus Tompkins directs that federal courts hearing state actions must apply state law. The reverse Erie doctrine directs that state courts hearing admiralty cases must apply federal admiralty law. So as soon as you go into court talking about I'm appearing and blah, 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 I'm not appearing, I'm hearing admiralty. Okay, that's exactly what we wanted. Welcome, come on in. This is why you don't need to claim you're a Moor when you go into court. You just need to know how to operate the United States Code. all this fucking paperwork and stamps floating around all over the fucking internet looking so busy. In admiralty law, yeah, thank you. That's exactly what we wanted. Yep. That's what we were doing anyway, the reverse Erie doctrine. Thank you very much. This is why I say, hey, look, here's the Black's Law Dictionary definition. Here's Title 18, Section 31. And they're like, okay. Egomania. Oh, see? We don't fool with him. We gonna fool with them. We don't rock with the Americans. We a United States citizen. We don't fool with the Moors. We this over here. And none of y'all know what you're talking about. But it sounds so damn good. This is why people like me be by ourselves. Because we ain't opened up a mental hospital. But this is why you see everything I'm talking about. I like to categorize it as mental health, awareness, and emotional intelligence. So let's continue here. Let's repeat that for the folks in the back. The Erie, let's go all the way to the top. So a state court hearing an admiralty or maritime case. So what happens is if they get you the trick is if they get your heart and mind, or your heart or your mind, either one, to say you agree with the way they're viewing you in admiralty, especially if you come in there talking about, I got paperwork that this court case is gonna be in admiralty law. It's even better. All right, so look, let's get to it. Excuse me. A state court hearing what they do is that allows the once you agree to it being admiralty, even if you just don't know to contest the way they're viewing you or the terms they're using, and you wind up being in admiralty. And I'm not an attorney. You guys already know that. This is for your entertainment, right? Entertainment only. Do your own research. Look for your own advice in professionals, okay? I'm just having fun with you. We're reading through this Wikipedia shit here. That's all we doing. You know what I mean? All right. So if you somehow wind up in admiralty situations, they're going to automatically judge the case in admiralty law instead of state law. All right. So some of these recent cases where you're like, oh my God, how could that happen? They let it fall off, and they did. And then because you don't understand, if an American kill a U.S. citizen, at best it's manslaughter, at best. However, if a U.S. citizen kill an American, it's a capital offense. It's capital murder. Y'all don't know shit. Try to throw you a rope. Y'all talk about they talking down to you. You want to claim this. You want to claim that. You said it's your heart. You said it's your mind. You got this title. You got that title. And you still don't know shit. That's why we be by ourselves. That's why me and you here right now. Let's get back to this work. So, a state court hearing an admiralty or maritime case is required to apply the admiralty and maritime law, even if it conflicts with the law of the state under a doctrine known as the reverse Erie doctrine. The Erie doctrine, derived from Erie Railroad Company versus Tompkins, directs that federal courts hearing state actions must apply state law. The reverse Erie doctrine directs that state courts hearing admiralty cases must apply federal admiralty law. This distinction is critical in some cases. For instance, U.S. maritime law recognizes the concept of joint and several liability. What was that? U.S. maritime law recognizes the concept of joint and several liability among tortfeasors, right? I butchered that. Figure out how to say it yourself or just read it. While many states do not. See, under joint and several liability, where two or more people create a single injury or loss, all are equally liable, even if they contributed only a small amount. You following this? Think about these what they call crimes and court cases and this, that, and the other. See, we're supposed to be, Americans we have full liability. That's why you can run a red light when you want to. That's why the red lights only apply to drivers who have limited liability. And I don't mean like some of them. I mean, being a driver is you're signing up saying, I have limited liability and I need the red light there to help me be safe, because otherwise I'm a minority. I'm incompetent of being able to gauge if I can cross this intersection safely without injuring myself or others or damaging property. That's really what the fuck is going on for your entertainment purposes. It's that complexly simple. So now you have joint liability. This is why they give you a fine. This is why you're out there talking about, I waived the benefit. Because the benefit is supposed to be the lesson. The slap on the wrist is supposed to teach you something. Because you need to be safe and you have joint liability in this life that you're in. Because you couldn't do it on your own. You couldn't cross the street by yourself. I mean, I was a Boy Scout. This is why we help the unable across the street. That's what Boy Scouts do. I guess that's part of why I'm doing this. I didn't think about it that way before now. I'll have to put that in my journal. All right, so where we at here? A state court hearing an admiralty case would be required to apply the doctrine of joint and several liability, even if state law does not contemplate the concept. It's that simple. All right. So limitation of ship owners' liability. Okay. There you go. Cargo claims. All right. Personal injuries. Emergency expenditures. What's this? Loans. Right? Is this your financials? Is this your medical? Is this your property damage? Is this the limitation liability? It kind of sounds like the whole fucking law that you call law, right? All right, let's jump over here real quick, because I want to show this to you. So we went over this part basically in a more complex detail, but it says here, what is admiralty law? Just run over it real quick. The next section is what I want to get to you, but this will only take a second. It could save your life though, so we'll take a second, because a second is worth your life, right? All right. So, also known as admiralty law, maritime law deals with legal issues related to the ocean. Excuse me. And the reason why I chose this one for you is because of the way it's worded. Exactly because of the way it's worded. So, also known as admiralty law, maritime law deals with legal issues related to the ocean, seas, and navigable bodies of water in the United States, such as rivers and lakes. Okay? Now, remember when I said they found a way to connect you to being a vessel? So, when you have a ship being built and they put it in the water, it's called the ship's berth. See, this is why You have a birthday. Some of y'all are familiar with this, but maybe you didn't know why. This is why I be like, I hate when, one of the things I do hate is when, because I be trying to learn too. And I'm always looking to learn something new. And I don't say you can't teach me nothing. But when I ask you something, why you say something and you don't know, I mean, it's one thing when you say you don't know. Okay, that's facts. At least you honest there. Why you out here repeating this shit without knowing what you're talking about, that's a whole nother story. But when you don't know and you can't see that you don't know, I think that's a problem, because each one teach one, but what are you really teaching if all you can give is the regurgitation of what you heard? You know what I mean? You can't help that person in this situation. You just out there giving them fortune cookies, and you're gonna see what that looks like in a moment. Okay? This is why this is important. So you have a birthday because they're treating you like a ship. Your women, your mother, you have a birth canal. See, water, the mother's waters. You came from your mother's waters. This is why they treat you as a vessel. Or this is how they're able to treat you like a vessel. This is how when you go to court, you wind up, if you don't know any better, under admiralty law. Because why? Because you're not your mind and you're not your heart. You're external to all of that shit. So if you got any more questions about it, by now it should be, that shit's done. It's fucking deep fried turkey. So, also known as admiralty law, maritime law deals with legal issues related to the ocean, seas, and navigable bodies of water. Birth canal. What is a canal? It's a navigable body of water. The Suez Canal. Ships go through there, right? The Panama Canal. Ships go through there, right? What came through the birth canal? A ship. It looked like you. They called it you because you're a vessel. This is a vessel. So, the history of maritime law goes back many centuries, as seagoing peoples needed to be able to resolve disputes. Modern maritime law covers a broad range of issues. Notice how they say it like that. From how maritime businesses are allowed to operate to what responsibilities a ship owner has to its workers and passengers. How a maritime business are allowed to operate. Why you think they all in your business? It's why they don't like me. It's why they don't like you. Because they not like us. We free up here. We don't have the ego. And they suffering from egomania. They so conceited. And it hurts them every time we tell them the truth. It hurt their little feelings. Because that's the minority in them. That's the, like child. That's what minority means. It doesn't mean skin color. It doesn't mean what race you think you are, which is a whole nother problem. So because they incompetent, it hurt their feelings when you throw down a rope to them. They feel like you talking down to them. And then they got to go over here with the other sick people and huddle up and hug each other because, you know, you understand me. You make me feel good because you like me. Because they all sick. It's a fucking illness. All right, so this is the part. Let's get to it real quick. Does maritime law apply on land? While maritime law covers issues that happen at sea, it also covers land-based commercial activities that are maritime in character. So remember what the extensive breakdown under Wikipedia said. Because of the reverse Erie doctrine, every case that's admiralty in nature or can at least be described in admiralty, supersedes state law. Now let's reread this. While maritime law covers issues that happen at sea, it also covers land-based commercial activities that are maritime in character. And this right here is key in this entertainment, right, of why they consider crime commercial. Y'all ain't fucking with me. See, y'all think I'm being rude because it's not that I don't know what you're talking about. It's just that you're still on a lower level. You haven't spent enough time researching that level to understand that there's shit beyond that level, and that's just a step to get you to the next floor. You're not even going to the top. That's just a step. You see what I'm saying? But you conceited and you're egomaniacs. When someone tries to drop you the rope, you flipping on the bird because you think you know everything. You got to a level that was different than where you were last month, last year, a decade ago, and you stopped. Don't think I'm lazy. You stopped. You started going back. You did a year worth of studying. You read some books. You watched some YouTube videos. You done went up and typed you some paperwork. You started putting stamps, getting some notaries on there. You got a hat. And then you went back to the club. I can go party now because I right? You stopped there. I didn't stop. You didn't stop. That's why you watching this with me. Because you here wanting more. Because you know there's more to receive. Going back to that biblical, the Helios Biblios text. Where it said the work they put in, that's the wages they will get. This is why you see the Moors, half of them, man, they trying to hold me down. They ain't accept my paperwork. They ain't do this. They ain't do that. They still try to railroad me. They do this. Yeah. Should look into why. Okay, so let's go to here now. All right. The higher self. And this just happened to be the Wikipedia definition. I mean, for the people that are just coming to concept with there's something outside of the flesh, I know a lot of y'all are watching at 7. You already know this term. You already have your explanation. You already know what it is, how, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the short answer is the higher self is a term right here associated with multiple belief systems, okay? But its basic premise describes an eternal, omnipotent, conscious, and intelligent being who is one's real self. See, they got you thinking you the body. They got you thinking you the ship. And you like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's us. Right? No, it's not. You know what I mean? Hit that Eminem on them. I am. Whatever you say I am. What are you? I'm my heart. No, I'm my mind. I'm neither, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I'm a smooth operator. That's that Michael Jackson. All right, so let's get into this, right? That kind of takes us to the next shit here. Speaking of Michael Jackson. So I had this post on Facebook the other day, right? And so I've been trying to work with people all the time, whether they ask for it, know it or not. You know what I mean? I'm always trying to build up everybody around me because I like, if you're gonna be around me, then I don't want to be the only one like to know the shit that I know. Like some people, what they thrive on, because they egomaniacs in their own way, right? Is they like to control you. They want to feel like they're in control of you. They want to keep you here. They want to keep you on the puppet strings, and they want to make you dance when they want you to dance. I ain't got time for all that. You know what I'm saying? What I realized is it's more work controlling people, and instead, what I like to do is I like to control the people around me. Not control them, but control who's around me. Because if you have the right people around you, you won't have to control them because you'll naturally be doing what needs to be done between y'all. You know, that's why they want to keep you out the group. Because, oh my God, if he's in the group, then I'm going to lose control. So we got to, everybody be quiet. Here he comes. Up. Nothing's going on here now. No. All right, now look, like we were saying, right? Because they don't want you. You see what I'm saying? You cooking them when you gonna cook them if you say something. You see the domino effect. This is why. Because they're caged into the flesh, and they enjoy the flesh, and they worship the flesh. They're flesh worshipers. What do you call that? They're not even sun worshipers anymore. At least Christianity has them worshiping the sun. What do you call flesh worshipers? Anyway, so I made this post, and I didn't make it. I actually shared it. Just so that's clear, when I say I made it, I posted this on my page. I make some, but I didn't make this one. So if you think we can't change the world, it just means you're not one of those who will. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if somebody come throw you the rope down and you're like, nah, fuck that, you always talking down to me and shit. You know what? Let me pull this rope back up. This rope not for you. My bad. I thought you were one of the ones that was supposed to just grab hold and get the fuck up out of that situation. Oh, then this motherfucker just left and she just left me. He ain't even call. They ain't say shit. They ain't ask if I was okay. They ain't give a fuck. No, they gave a fuck, but you didn't give a fuck. Now you want to say they don't give a fuck because you didn't give a fuck first. That's because you conceded. Because you're ego. Maniac. See what I'm saying? See the domino effect in this shit? This is why when you get the complexity, you got to be complex. Because infinity is complex. You running around here thinking there's shit wrong. Not you, but them. They running around here thinking shit wrong with you and me because we ain't got time for the simple shit. Simple shit get you fucked up, get you killed, get you jammed up. You be an Admiralty. All right, let's take a look at this. So that was a post. Okay, if you think we can't change the world, it just means you're not one of those that will. Because now that you see it, you know what I mean? Now that we've covered it, right? And you see how after that breakdown, you have a much clearer picture, I would think. I know some of you guys already knew this stuff, right? So cheers to you. And for the ones that are just learning, now you see the picture. Let's review a conversation and show you how this is affecting the conscious community. Okay? Whether I kind of laughed in some more topics, so we know about that. Now let's look at this shit here and just remember, I'm a man of equations, not the variables. So everything that we're talking about here, I want you to think about how you've heard similar interactions in conversations you've had despite the topic. Okay? Take out what we talking about and plug in what that person said to you last week. Plug in what your mother said yesterday. Because, you know, family be trying to keep you in that hole too. Right? Plug in what your boss said to you yesterday. All right, you get where I'm going with this, okay? Cool. It's not personal, but it's a great example. And we're going to all learn today. All right, let me see where we at here. Okay, cool. All right. So, this is where the Michael Jackson came into play. So the post was, if you think we can't change the world, it just means you're not one of those that will. And the response, I'm actually been, so I've been observing. I'm like, okay, when I ask certain people a question, like you can't get a response. They like NASA, never a straight answer, right? NASA, never a straight answer. It's not my joke, but I think you heard about it before, okay? So I've been working on this case here, this particular case study, as I label it, case study 6, we'll call it. We already put 5 out, and so that's what you see going on here, because I've been doing some mental work with myself to make sure. What I like to do is when I have an equation and I come up with into some shit in life, I run it through my equation to make sure my equation's right. I feel like if other people did that shit with their thoughts or whatever they was standing on, it would be easy for them to see that they wrong. I mean, I don't care if you want to say that you're wrong or not, but if it don't work in the equation of truth, then you might want to refine your process. You know what I'm saying? So here we go. So they go, I'm looking at the man in the mirror. If you want to make the world a better place, let the real work begin. And looking back on that in hindsight, that was an amazing introductory to what's going to occur, because I really just put in some real work for this person, for the understanding for himself and for my comprehension of humanity, and so that I can help others, and I was trying to invest in him just like I'm investing in you now, so that you can help others. You know what I mean? So that's why I do this shit. So I dropped the song. You know, results may vary, okay, because it's got a lot of key lines in there. You know what I mean? That makes sense once you know this stuff, okay, and you'll see that in a little while. But what I noticed is that the lyrics were missing. And, you know, you could say, Pasha, you being too analytical, you know, you overthinking shit. But I'm an artist. I write songs. I'm a songwriter. So lyrics are like, wait a minute, this ain't how to, you know what I mean? So, because I've been in that situation before where I be trying to make a point with song lyrics. Or as you can see, Bible quotes. I don't know shit about the Bible like some people do. I'm not afraid to tell you I don't know. So I actually had to go look that shit up. What I did, I Googled Bible quotes that says body is a vessel, and I looked at what popped up and I read them, got my comprehension of it, and said, okay, I'm gonna select this one and that one. I'm not one of them people that go off the top of my head, oh, Corinthians 3:17 says, and I can tell you every word. Nah, fuck that. That ain't me. I needed that memory space for some other shit. Okay, I ain't memorized all that shit. All right, so look. But in a case like that, I'll Google it and get the actual factual so I can give it to who I'm trying to make the point. I mean, you got the whole fucking world right here at your fingertips, but what do you use it for? You got the whole world right here on your keyboard, but what do you use it for? And then you get mad when the person comes and tell you some shit that you can go look up because you want to say you're in Admiralty law. You're appearing in Admiralty. All right. So I said, hey, bro, here's the lyrics to Man in the Mirror. And it says, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. No message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change. And I said, I think this is powerful clarity. See, instead of looking at ourselves, right? That's the conceitedness. Like, oh, I'm in my heart. It's me. It's my brain. We need to start with ourselves. Looking within for shit, meditating, going inside yourself, zoning out. I'm inside myself. I'm clearing my mind. That's the beginning of shit. It's just the start. Y'all get there and feel like y'all fucking gurus, and you know there's no more levels to this shit. I am the master. Who's the master? I am. Show enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is where y'all fuck up at. All right. Start with ourselves. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Okay, so one can't explain anything to others that they don't have inside of themselves. See, until you have the prerequisites to comprehend, you'll always be like, they're talking down. Or your ego is going to have you being like, fuck that, tell them this. Because it came from my heart. Fuck what came from your heart, your mind, because you think it's coming from their heart and mind. You don't realize it's coming from the Most High to you through them. But because you don't have the connection, and I'm not saying you need to have locks, I'm just showing you what we talked about earlier, but because you're not connected to source, you don't realize what's coming to you from source because you're too busy judging if it's Apollo or Peter or whatever it was talking about in the damn Helios Biblios. You're too busy saying, I don't follow him, I don't listen to him, I listen to Paul. Paul is my Most High. You don't realize that's what you're doing. Because you're not connected to source, you don't understand it's coming to you from source through what's around you, through the environment around you. This is why a bird can come and land and do some shit. And you be like, oh, that's it right there. Now I get it. Some shit you was talking about last week. You got some people that's going to say, oh, I'm crazy for if I watch the bird and listen to what the bird is saying. Who would do that? Yeah, okay. That's how I do it. Okay, Avia, too proud. Yes, oneself, lovers of themselves. Yeah, what it say about worshiping false idols? Okay, I guess if I tap that every now and then, I can see some shit that didn't pop up. Okay, cool. That's false idol worship, right? All right, so there's a great difference between looking at the man in the mirror, because now you're looking at him like, yeah, I'm all this shit, right? Vanity, right? Instead of actually realizing that's where you need to start with, okay? So it's a big difference between looking at the man in the mirror and starting with the man in the mirror or the woman. All right, but you know it's equation, substitute the variables as you need to. So lyrics or spells. So I'm reading the energy difference between the lyrics that you posted and what the lyrics actually are. So the next line says, I'm asking him to change his ways. See, to do that, one must use the emotion of acceptance. So you got to accept that it's not your heart or your mind, it's something bigger, to allow growth into their life. If one looks at something simply and calls it a different name, it doesn't mean that they've changed it. Like, you can't be in the middle of a war zone and be like, you know what? This is peace. I am at peace. Yeah, you're going to be at peace. Your head going to get blown off. That's what's going to happen. Because you're in a war zone, no matter what the fuck you call it. So if one looks at something and simply calls it a different name, it doesn't mean they've changed it. See, that line was skipped. I'm telling them, because this is why I be looking at people, because their subconscious be doing shit. And the conscious be acting like they don't see it. And the subconscious and the conscious be fighting each other. Again, that's that inner conflict. You're not at peace. So see, that line was skipped in your display. In translation, you are missing the change factor. See, that's why he didn't want to see that. He didn't want to see, I'm asking him to change his ways. That was his heart was trying to call out to him. His mind was trying to tell him when it said, take this section of the song and put it out there as your example, but he couldn't even face his own music. This is why you feel like you get disrespected with people like us. It's not that we're disrespecting you. It's that you don't see how you're disrespecting yourselves. And then respect means relate. So when we tell you we can't relate to that disrespect, that's what's causing you to feel disrespected for those people that you're dealing with in your life. That's how you need to articulate it to them. So but again, they may or may not comprehend. So the next line says, no message could have been any clearer. See, again, the message of change has to be received. You gotta accept that it's not your heart or your mind. The more time you spend in there, like I told people, the more time you spend within, eventually you realize that what you're seeking for is not there. Excuse me. It's human. It's the body. It's the vessel. So look, right? So that goes back to the quote from The Last Dragon. There is one place you have not looked, and it is there, only there. You shall find the master. You all in here with it. It's not in there. All right. Let's get back to this. So like I said, once you know yourself, you can know what you need the environment around you to be to sustain such in you. This is why the message is unclear to some people. This is why many don't know what needs to be done in the world around themselves or how to apply proper mechanics in another person's change. So if someone comes to you for help, hey, help me understand this, and all you know how to do is repeat a fortune cookie, you can't help that person. I mean, you're going to say it to them, it's going to sound good, but when they come back to you, say, I thought about what you said, I don't really know what the fuck that mean after I thought about it. Can you help me out? You're going to be like, you're going to give them another fortune cookie. Why? Because you don't know yourself. It's that simple. So this is why the message is unclear to some. This is why many don't know what needs to be done in the world around them or how to apply proper mechanics in another person's change when they ask for help. Again, just looking without change and calling it something different isn't change. That's how you make the world a better place. And when Michael Jackson said it couldn't be any clearer, that reminds me of my song Atmosphere. Shameless plug. All right? I got a whole section in that song on clear. Then I could drop for you guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and check out one of the previous videos, real recent, why religious people will never see spirit in you, duality and projection. It's kind of like what we're piggybacking off of in this discussion today. It's because a lot of them aren't really connected to source. They may tell you they are, they may want you to believe they are, but they're not. And they're doing these rituals, routines religiously, and they're wondering why it don't really work. And all they're doing is paying tithes. You know what I mean? And then they want to get mad at the preacher for riding around in a Bentley because, well, anyway. So here comes the response. Clarity comes from within, brother. The source of clarity we carry within wherever we go. Okay, so the opportunity for growth, and this is why I say things, and I'll be like, okay, I'll be giving people the rope, and they be just throwing it back, or they talk shit about the rope. You don't got a different rope? I don't like this rope. It has brown fiber. I thought you were gonna throw me a rope with gray fiber. Hey, motherfucker, what? You know what I'm saying? This is how you gotta look at these responses. So I mean, from people in your life, you know what I mean? So the opportunity for growth for you will be when you learn that the you think is you is not within you. See? And because of the people's responses and actions, I can say, I recognize that you haven't spent enough time within yet to realize this, so I offer you catalysts. All your talk about removing your thoughts because thoughts are noise, you know people like this. He's not the only one. And it's not to demonize anybody because everybody had to start from somewhere. But you gotta accept that there's levels to this shit, and you gotta know that there's more levels beyond where you're at if you're ever gonna move up. And if you're gonna, it's okay if you only want to help people get to this level, but you gotta know that You got to let go of them after they get that level that you on. You see what I'm saying? And then what happens is when people think they the masters and they only at the basic level, that's why you got people doing what we talked about earlier, where the Moors don't want to listen to you because they feel like they got all this paperwork and they didn't read it. You know what I mean? They read it, but they didn't comprehend it. You know what I'm saying? And then they got, this person don't want to listen to you because they got this, and this person says they following that person, and this person says it's in their heart and it's in my mind. Okay, fine. I'm connected to source. You see what I'm saying? You connected to source. This is why you have these distractions. But what'll happen is they feel like they are the master, but they don't know that they're at the basic most level. They're at the entry level position at the job. So then when someone else comes in, a new hire, and they train them, and then they say, okay, I'm ready to go over here. No, we don't go nowhere else. We don't apply for no promotion. What are you doing? You stay here. You stay right here with me. We don't go higher. There is no higher. What are you talking about? That's what it looks like, and they don't realize it, okay? That's when it becomes a problem, when they don't want to let go and let the people that want to grow continue to grow, and then they got to gaslight them, gaslight you about them, gaslight you to them. Egomania takes over, all this shit. Because why? Because they're mentally ill, and they're lacking the emotional intelligence. That's why we're trying to heal here, in the people around you. Okay, so all your talk about removing your thoughts because thoughts are noise is proof you are not connected with any sources. Sources being your higher self or the most higher universe, etc., whatever you call it. See, you're afraid of the downloads. You want to be the source, but you're not. See, that's why some people are actually so focused on the in here, and they may even know about the possibility of out there, but they want to dismiss that because of the ego. It's got to be me. It's all about me. And that's their inner conflict, okay? So the good news is you'll attract massive support because many are in need of the same repair. See, like I said, with that hug, they go back and they huddle. All the sick people come together because, oh, you understand me. No, they both have the same symptoms. And that makes you feel comfortable. But what you already know about growth is you got to go outside of your comfort zone. Like I said, when you go for that promotion, they're like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Come back. You won't be comfortable. Right? So, they won't know why they like you, and it will be because of the connection in disorders, not the connection to source or destination. See, that's the manipulation there, whether they realize it or not. So, watch the content in the videos I provided above for clarity. Higher vibrations brought you here today to listen and observe, and you wanting to be the source is disrupting you receiving this download. See, the source, whatever you want to call it, brought you to this page, to this post, had you say the shit you said because it wanted you to get the message, and then you started an argument with your mind and your heart about who was right, and you forgot all about the damn source, and now you up here missing your opportunity. How many times have you seen this happen in people around you? So I said, consider this my investment in you for the people who look up to you. Enjoy your day. Now, right there was an opportunity for, if it was me, I'd have went and been like, oh, shit. Okay, now what do you mean by that? And I'd have sat around, thought about it for a little while. Worst case scenario, I may ask the question if I ain't know. But again, egomania has you having to say, you got to get the last word. Matter of fact, let's go back and look at that real quick before we get too far into this. So why having the last word is so important for some people? Boom. Here you go. Because I could have said it to you, but I know you like to see it written down. All right. So having the last word for some people means winning the argument. That's why I be like, man, they always in competition. That's the ego. They got to compete all the fucking time. They don't realize they competing. So whilst this clearly isn't always true. It is a frustrating trait that applies to more than just Wikipedia. So, it is worth remembering that the person who wins the debate is not necessarily the person who shouts the loudest or gets the last word. Often a person with this personality is likely to be an egomaniac or bordering on being one. And this was amazing because this opened up the whole concept to me of, oh shit, this is the conscious community's problem. This is this part's problem. This is the US versus American problem. This is another fucking emotional intelligence issue, mental health awareness issue that's causing divided we fall when we should be united we stand. This is why they don't like your level of consciousness when you connect to source. All right, so often a person with this personality is likely to be an egomaniac or bordering on being one. You know what I mean? You provide me with something new that I didn't know. I'm like, thank you, bro. Like, I appreciate that shit. So, Avia says, when you are the flesh, question earlier, the first answer I thought of was immortality. Yes. The us that is the real you is the immortal you, right? Energy. If you want to look at the spirit or the soul as being energy, what do we know about energy from science class? Energy is neither created nor destroyed, only transformed, right? So people who walk in flesh would be considered sinners. Yes, I like that translation. True definition, the opposite of moral, immoral. So moral or question mark. And then basically frequencies, energies aren't aligned. Right. It's an imbalance. And that's where the issue is because, and I think you answered your own question there. True definition of the opposite of moral, immoral. So moral or question mark. Yeah. Okay. So you got that. You great explanation, great translation. I appreciate that. So, that was something I have used before in conversation because the heart, when people are arguing about the heart and the mind, for example, right? I say that's the first area that you're suffering. That's why it's called peace or inner conflict, because you have the inner conflict of, no, I follow my heart. No, I follow my mind. When in reality, you need a balance of mind and heart. There is no just follow your heart. It's always right. Just follow your mind. It's always right. The fuck is that? It's foolishness, right? That's what the biblical stuff was talking about earlier. Let those who think they wise, right? You really need a balance of mind and heart. And then once you get that balance right, it's like the equalizer in your car. You know what I mean? Remember you used to have the equalizer, it had like three, it had highs, mids, and lows. And then when you got your first system and you had those 15s or those 12s in the trunk and you had the big equalizer, it had like, it took the high, it took what was 3 and then you had 10. So you had like all these different areas of control in there. So you can get the exact balance you wanted. So you got to balance your mind with your heart. And then once you realize that, you got to balance the mind, heart, body combination with the motherfucking omnipresent shit. That's another balance you got to put in the equalizer. You know? All right. So an egomaniac can be defined as a person who is obsessively self-centered or egotistical. Self-centered. It's in me. It's my heart. It's my mind. That's self-centered. And see, the thing is, it's not the self-centered you think of when you think about someone being self-centered. You gotta see, this is why you gotta practice your analogies. It makes this stuff clear for you. So you're still dealing with an egomaniac. Everybody that's arguing mind, heart, they egomaniacs. They're on a basic entry level position and they afraid to get a promotion. So they arguing about why they want to stay in the same position. You've seen people like that at your job, for those that have jobs or had jobs in their life. Well, why didn't you move up? You've been here 15 years. Oh, I don't want no more responsibility or work. That's too much work. And I don't see the reward and all that. Or then they're gonna ask me to do more hours or something. It's gonna take me longer to all those excuses, right? That's the same shit here. So they argue with you why, you know, their position that they're in is the best for them. Which, hey. So why do egomaniacs feel the need to have the last word? There are many reasons people behave as they do. Trying to understand this psyche behind aggressive behaviors can help you plan your course of action if you regularly deal with people who insist on always having the last word. And see, aggressive don't really see, the trick here is aggressive behavior doesn't mean they're abusing you. And you gotta remember I said you gotta know your analogies. You gotta know the etymology of shit. So aggressive doesn't mean abuse. So it doesn't mean that it's confrontational. Which is why when we go back to this like the Facebook, you're gonna see the responses are aggressively asserting the self-centeredness. You gotta go within yourself. I go within myself. Me, in here. It's all about this. It's all about the body, the flesh. The fuck are you talking about? It can't be that. It's the flesh. Self-centered, and it's aggression. There was no, well, why do you say that? What makes you say that? Why do you think that? How could that be? There was nothing beyond, it's me, it's in here, it's me. Matter of fact, I heard you say that. What I'm going to tell you is going to sound like I never even listened to it, because that came from outside of me. I'm going to tell you what my heart wants you to hear. That's aggressive behavior. It's subtly aggressive. So we got insecurity. Okay. We got insecurity. Someone who lacks confidence or self-esteem. Think about the people around you. Think about the people in your circle. Okay. May try to assert themselves in other ways by expressing himself or herself in a forceful way. Remember, forceful don't mean abusive. So look at the actions, look at the responses. They're trying to force themselves on you. All right. This is a familiar scenario in bullying, where often the aggressor is a victim in another way. Should this be the possible reason their insistence on having the last word? Trying to discuss your differences with sensitivity might help to reach a peaceful outcome. They may need to be heard more strongly than they need to feel violated or validated, which is when you don't validate them, you're violating them. So Avia says proudness have to be right or feel in control. Right, because remember, they want to control you. Okay. And she got hashtag ass for when you a flesh question earlier. The first answer I thought of was immortality. Yeah, you're right. And there's one of the Bible verses I saw when I was researching that element. It said something about those who walk in the flesh, something. I don't know. I would have to go back and find it, and we're not going to do that right now. But I like your the true definition, the opposite of moral, immoral, so mortal or question mark. But I think you actually are answering your own question, you know, because you said when you ask the flesh question. Oh, okay, hashtag ask. So the A is ask, or I guess that's what you're saying. So when you asked the flesh question earlier, the first answer I thought was immortality. Yeah, that's why I'm feeling like you answered your own question. I think that's where we're at. But I like your last part there where it says true definition, the opposite of moral and immortal. So I think I might even need to do a video on that one. Those two right there. So it's okay to feel insecure and work towards those insecurities. It's not okay to take it out on others. Exactly. And even if it's like a peaceful take it out on others, you got to realize that now they're trying to violate you with their validation if you're on this higher level. Okay? And that's what you're going to see here shortly. Then we have arrogance. So a person with extreme arrogance may genuinely not be able to accept that they might be incorrect, or that another person's opinion is equally as valid as their own. This is an unfortunate trait to have, and it may not be that an extremely arrogant person simply isn't worth arguing with in any circumstance like this. So with this situation, it went on for a minute, but it was because I was like, you know what, let me see how this plays out, because now that I've had this discovery, I was like, let me run it through this new equation and see what happens. So, you know, they gave you lemons, you make lemonade, right? So egocentricity, some people simply need to be the center of attention. Here we go again. Heart, mind, me. I'm the center. The heart's the center. The heart is within me. That makes me, my center is the center of it all. I don't like the brain because it's off center of me. Right? I can't trust my own thoughts. What about your stomach? Because your stomach and your intestines is like a whole mind too, right? Don't it look just like the brain? How come how come y'all ain't got a three-way split? Mind, heart, stomach out this motherfucker. Because you can say a man think with his penis, right? We skipped the stomach though. See? They don't want to hear that part. It makes their arguments futile. So egocentricity. Some people simply need to be the center of attention and will argue black is white in order to keep the spotlight. We've heard that before somewhere, right? So this can occur for lots of reasons. They might feel ignored in their home life or feel impotent in other areas of their social or professional relationships. If a person is unreasonable simply for attention, it isn't wise to stroke their ego. You will only find yourself drawn into their appeals for attention and maybe supporting their egocentricity by doing so. Now, if you're doing this on purpose because you're running them through your equation, then you've already accepted that you're stroking their ego because you want to see if it's ego that you're stroking or if it's just plain ignorance. All right? Or a combination of both. What is their imbalance? Okay? When you're trying to help those around you, you're trying to heal those around you. The people that come to here, they want to YNet 7 is because you were most likely to do work in people's lives. And that's why we need to understand this. Thank you, Avia. So, power. Having the last word can be perceived as powerful. See? Often by people who lack assertiveness in other areas of their life. This is a difficult scenario to deal with as you are the unwitting recipient of their onslaught that is reinforcing their own feelings of control and power. Try not to be drawn into a debate with this person. They will do their utmost to drive you down and for their own self-esteem. Now see, depending on the type of person you are, like if you're not scared or you're not afraid and you know what you're doing, this is a great exercise. Like you'll see, like I went way far with this because I was appreciating the exercise. Because again, I'm running this through my equation. I'm putting it through the juice compressor. And if there's lemons that went in, I should get lemonade on the way out. Good day. I shouldn't. If I pronounced that right. If I didn't, excuse me. So, anger. Refusal to debate calmly can be a reaction to feelings of anger, and shouting down an opponent is a way to express their feelings. And let me pause for a moment because, you know, my phone don't always show all the comments. I got this system. I'm working to make the content better for you so we can be more interactive. So, comment. But for those that are joining midway through, if you missed the beginning, a lot of great stuff in the beginning. When we get done here at your leisure in the future, go back and watch the the beginning to where you jumped in at, so you can get the complete story, because the complete presentation. I'm not a fan of incompleteness, and I don't want you to have an idea saying what you saw, heard, and not get the full context of it. That's just who I am. So hit the subscribe button. You know what I mean? Especially if you're on YouTube. Hit the like, stuff like that, so you can get notifications. Click the bell. You know, all that stuff they YouTubers say. I ain't telling you nothing you don't already know. So, okay, let's get back to this. Anger, refusal to debate. Okay, cool. Appreciate you. So refusal to debate calmly can be a reaction to feelings of anger, and shouting down an opponent is a way to express their feelings. In this situation, it may be best to revisit the discussion when the other person has had time to calm down. Otherwise, debating with an angry opponent could quickly turn into a volatile situation. This is why you hear me say, I leave people like alone, you know, when they're in that mindset, because you never know what their trigger is gonna be, right? And their trigger might trigger your trigger. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to deal with some other situation because they triggered your trigger, and you triggered that trigger, and now it triggered a lot of other shit, right? So you gonna go home, but it all could have been avoided because you already knew the frequency was off. All right, so dominance. As with power, a person who feels the innate need to dominate others or to establish their seniority may do so by insisting they have the final word in any conversation. A scenario most likely to exist in the workplace. People can try to dominate or demonstrate their dominance over peers or colleagues by forcing them to concede an argument. So how many times have you seen that done, where people just keep going back and forth with you because they want you to bow out? Sometimes you just gotta be like, okay, we're gonna run this to the cows come home, to the sun come up. I got time today. Look at the watch. I got time today. And then they get frustrated because they not used to anybody being able to match that energy with them. You know what I mean? But you charged up because you connected the source. You fully charged. They don't know you can go. You can go. They used to dealing with people not on your level. You'll get that with people, especially you'll notice when they talk about I ain't never had a man say, or I ain't never had a woman say. See, they talking about what they used to because they not used to you. They don't, you know what I mean? Anyway, and that's that self-centeredness. How you gonna talk about what you used to? It's me. It's you standing in front of them. What they used to or who they knew before you ain't got shit to do with them, but they gotta make it about themselves. I haven't never. See? Self-centeredness. You standing right in front of them, they talking about what me. Their heart, their mind. So in this situation, you need to reinforce your own self-esteem and perhaps have a third party step in. Don't be crushed by another person's drive to control your actions. Make sure your voice is heard, even when you're speaking quietly. Okay. All right. So that's kind of like some of the description here. And then now let's jump back to where we were on the book with the post. Okay, so consider this my investment in you for the people who look up to you. Enjoy your day. And like I'm saying, like for me right there, boom, with what I gave him before, broke that shit down to the truly wise. That would have been like, oh, let me go reflect. Let me go, see what I can learn from that, or maybe I need to ask a question, etc., etc., etc. All right. Nah, not to the egomaniac. Here goes the response. I go beyond thinking, brother. Feel. I'm using the voice just to show the difference between me and him. It's not to say this is his voice or how he talks or anything. So it's the theatrics of conversation, so we can cut out the emotional drama that my presentation may cause. Okay, I like to have fun, make this a little bit of fun experience, and that's just who I am as a entity above. Right? So I go beyond thinking, brother. Feel, to connect within. You see? Forget what I just told him. I. That's a self-centeredness. I go beyond thinking. Okay, I go beyond thinking. Like you're thinking, man. That is so. That's the gaslighting, right? I go beyond thinking, brother. Feel, to connect within. It is not for everyone. Life brings us here. The breath brings us here. When I leave it, will be the peace that leaves with me. That is why they say, rest in peace. Like this is what I'm talking about, the fortune cookie shit. But see, when you ask him why, he's at the level where he can't tell you why. He can only give you another fortune cookie. You see what I'm saying? All right. We break down the mechanics of shit here because the reason why that's important is because when, like I said, when a person comes to you in your life or you come to them in their life, you came together, you're going to be able to actually heal them. Okay, I'm trying, this is what's wrong with you. This is where you need to get to. I can draw you a map because I know step by step what you need to do. You know what I mean? I can't, let me say, not necessarily what you need. Sometimes it could be clearly what you need to do. I ain't gonna always promise that. Sometimes it's just to tell you, what you need to change, something like that. You get what I'm saying. You can tell them where they're going wrong. Put it like that. All right. Why? Because you understand the whole shit. Okay. So then the response is, peace is the investment of all mankind. So it is with me. Peace, the feeling of peace, beautiful peace. Like I said, you're not at peace in a war zone. I don't care what you say. You're not. If you are, you're gonna get your head blown off. Okay? But the fortune cookie sounds good. Okay? You gotta know what level you're on, or else you'll miss your opportunity to go higher. Or if you don't want to go higher, that's fine. But don't put people in a cage. Let them flow through. Be the introductory position trainer, and then let them move on to the higher level people so they can get more experience and more training. So I said in response, see, your response in arrogance displays your ignorance. As I mentioned, if you read clearly to receive versus respond, because that's what a lot of people do. They not listen to you to comprehend. Remember, the minority can't comprehend you. That's what minority means. It's not about skin color. It's about comprehension levels. So they're incompetent. Okay? So either they don't comprehend what you're saying or they don't want to. All right? And that's the difference. So they'll listen to you simply so that they can respond. Ashanet says they have never met or had a real opponent. Facts. And then let's take out the word opponent, because remember, we on a level where we not in competition with nobody. We never in competition. Our competition is with ourselves. They compete against, like I said, when it's something quote unquote negative, they recognize the external. That's why they can say, "Oh, that's my opponent." Those are the ops. They know they can stay outside of themselves then. But what the gist of the story was is that the part that's you, within you, isn't inside of you. It's your higher self, which is outside of your body. So people that are arguing about the mind and the heart, again, yeah, they forgot about the stomach, right? Being a mind also, the intestines. But the reality is, the more time you spend inside yourself, eventually you get to the point of that what you're looking for inside of you is external of yourself, because it's your higher self. You got to go into the quantum physics world, the metaphysics world. You got to get into the omnipresence of yourself. You got to know that you're infinite. See, this is limited. This flesh is limited. It has a limited shelf life. It's only going to last for so long. It's limited in the amount of space it can take up. But when you get your practice right, you astral projecting, you around the world, all that shit. All right. So no, and, okay, cool. So that's the great thing. Shit, hold on. All right. So she said that's the great thing about being a master student and a master teacher. Yes. And then she says, when debating, that's what I mean. Yeah. No offense. I feel that, and when I speak, sometimes I'm speaking because we may understand it, but again, just like this post, it's an opportunity for those who are coming that may not be on the same vibe or frequency to also get the message with more clarity as well. So I appreciate you for that. And Avia says, listening to respond, not understand and communicate. Exactly. And that's why we are above the minority phase. Okay, we're part of the majority, which is what it actually is when you become you're competent, able to conduct your own affairs. So, as a quick recap, we covered the movie The Last Dragon, the famous quote. So you know what you did miss. The one place, or there is only one place you have not looked, and it is there, and only there you will find the master. It's my movie, man. And then we went into some of the Helios Biblios with the Thessalonians, the First Thessalonians, number 4 through 7. Not that I'm biblical, so I'll be screwing that up. But we went over that. We went over 1 Corinthians 3, 1 through 23. That displayed the fact that the body is a vessel, which was supporting what I'm saying is that when you get in your car, you're not the car, okay? And we tied it all together to Admiralty Law, and then we took a look at higher self real quick, and we went from there, okay? So, matter of fact, let's look at this one last time with higher self, because I don't think we yeah, okay, we did this part here, but look at this. I wanted to show you this too here, because this part kind of makes it make sense for some people. So the higher self has been given many names. Oh, no, that's not the part I wanted. Hold on a second. All right. So you know what? Forget it. We're going to move on. You get the idea, because what I was looking for is not... What does it mean when you connect to your higher self? No, that wasn't it. Yeah, it was one of these. Maybe it was another Google search I did, and it was right here at the bottom. And it broke down what the higher self was based on their thing, and it was giving you the levels in between. So, all right, back to the grind. All right. So, in your response, you have not spent enough time within to know the difference between thoughts and downloads. To go beyond thinking is proof of the disconnect I referenced earlier, because what he was saying is that he likes to quiet all the noise or all the thoughts, because thoughts are noise. And when you realize you're getting downloads, they come to you in all kinds of ways. Like, it could be the bird, like we said earlier, and you'd be like, oh shit, the bird just did that. That made me think, oh, that's the answer to what I was thinking about earlier. Or you could be sitting there in peace and have actually that would be the thought. You had a thought from the response from your environment or the download. So if you try to get rid of all your thoughts, you're not fully connected with source. You're not fully connected with your higher self, because you're missing some of that open communication, like Ashanet and Avia was talking about. So balance is the key. Balance of thought and feeling. I'm not the others you speak to. I will leave you with that. The opportunity is yours for your own growth and development. Like I said, I'm investing in you to support those around you, as right now I see the potential in you that you have not yet reached. You know what I mean? I be trying to invest in people, you know what I'm saying? Because we need to reach critical mass. And I'm not going to judge who is a part of that critical mass. I'm just going to do my part. You know what I'm saying? So, and I tell them, I'm not impressed with fortune cookie statements. Strengthen your comprehension of what you think you know, because otherwise it's a danger. Like, I see that as danger, because now once you get all your sick people together, huddled up, talking about, oh, you understand me because y'all both had the same illness. It's a thin line between guidance and misleading. And the danger is, this is how people start to get in these groups that get misled, and then, the Pied Piper, and they go right off the cliff, because, you see what I'm saying? Like, you dealing with people could be coming to you that could be getting ready to kill themselves, getting ready to be suicidal, and you giving them fortune cookies, they ain't gonna help them. So, all right, not for me or for yourself, but for the people that look up to you. Current state is you are misleading them because you don't know any better. You sound good but lack substance. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. So it goes. It's all good, as hard as it may seem, as it seems to fathom the joy of peace, the beautiful feeling of peace. To feel good every day is not for everyone. I know. I know. At this point, we know. We've been trying to get you to really feel good, but you don't realize you're in inner conflict with yourself. Okay. So I dropped my song, I'm Not Man-Made, because it's a lot of content in that song that would help that thought process. So to talk about, then he says, to talk about and spread the message of peace, brother, brings no harm to all living things. If you spreading the right message, yes, but if you're not giving them what they need, then you're wasting their time, and you're preventing them from their promotion in life, like we talked about. So those people around you, this is what we need to let them know. So Ashanet says, many are called, few are chosen, and thank you for being such a great master, student, and teacher. Gratitude for the energy you put out during your life. Thank you, and thank you for acknowledging that I'm both student and teacher at the same time, as we all are. This is what happens when we get disconnected from the opportunity to learn something from each other. We get stuck and become stagnant, and we know that if we're going to be like water, stagnant water grows shit in there that ain't supposed to be there, right? So this is why we need to keep moving, keep growing, and this is why I'm taking the time to share this. There's a lot of lesson opportunities in this, but one thing is, if you don't know, like I started off in the very beginning, the first thing I said is, if you don't know, just say you don't know, because otherwise you're creating you're creating stagnicity, if that's a word. You're making someone else stagnant, and that's going to cause them disease, disorder, or something, because they feel the calling, but now you're using gaslighting, you're using your egomaniac, you're using projection to make them not talk to this person that could help them further. And you see this in business, in the community all the time. They won't refer you to the person that's really good at what you need done. They want to tell you to go to their people, so they can keep it in their pen, right? And then you get an inferior product or inferior service, because their mind is they trying to keep you on this level with them. You see what I'm saying? And again, the gaslighting, all that shit to make sure that you stay with them, because they are self-centered. Everything needs to revolve around them. And this is why our community is in the state that it is in now. All right. So where we at here? Okay. So I respond with, when I say it's always the perfect day, it doesn't mean you feel good every day. Okay? So those other feelings are perfect in the moment they arrive. They are needed. To claim you feel good every day is obviously not true. Okay? But those feelings are part of perfection. So again, your conflict is within. See how you have not grown where you think you have. You have actually sedated yourself with a drug. And that drug is your belief. You see what I mean? The word believe means not to know. Once you go beyond belief, after you allow those thoughts to come in, after you feel it in your heart, after your stomach digests it, you're going to get that tingling, you know what I'm saying, down below, because you know you're in the truth now. All right? You got to use all your body, you got to be holistic. They say mind and heart, that's not holistic. That's the drug. What do we know about drugs? What is a drug? A drug is whenever you take something that was whole and you extract part of it, only a certain part of it from it, and discard the rest. What you extracted is the drug. So you got a whole body here with 5, 6 infinite senses. And you talking about, I just follow my heart. That's an addiction. That's what that is. All right, so all right, so to continue, I say here is a thorough breakdown on peace, okay? Because I did the whole, you can go back on the YouTube on YNet7. There's a whole section, I called it Life Vibes. If you go to the beginning of that section, I read the book Power vs. Force, and we actually reviewed each emotion in Power vs. Force, because what that book is about, it was about an ongoing study that actually calibrated human emotion and the different levels and how you transcend from apathy, shame and apathy and all the low level stuff all the way up to joy, peace, and enlightenment. Okay, so I broke that down, and I telling him I was where you were at like 15 years ago, so I know what he's going through. It's just that some people, they spend a week or 5 days or 5 months. Some people get stuck there and they just stay there, right? So I know where he's at, and he represents where a lot of people are at, and this is what they all need to consider. So his response is, no one is a vegetable, you are right. We are all human, the potential to experience peace from within. See, it's stuck on the inside, okay? To walk in peace from inside. Every day I visit the well of peace within. I talk from that experience of touching peace, of feeling peace we carry, but it's okay. Peace is the message always. So what we're witnessing is a bunch of shit that's under that egomaniac shit that we just went up reviewed about needing to have the last word. And it's a lot of opportunity that's being missed on his end. I'm actually learning from it the whole time. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then right about here is where I said, you know what? At some point I was like, let me keep this going because I need to extract the drug out of him. You know what I'm saying? I want to know what's possessing him. And this is why people don't necessarily like to be around us, because we know the real them. And because we're going to get to know them, whether they want us to or not. So, yeah, be like water, great information. Yep, Bruce Lee. So, and then he says, we should leave it there. Peace, return to talk another day. Now, that's gaslighting at its finest because, as a matter of fact, here I go. So, my response is like, come on, man, because you should have left it there a long time ago. You gonna post all these fortune cookies and then try to leave because it started off with the Michael Jackson, I'm standing with the man in the mirror. And I said, because the mirror getting too close and you learning you're not at peace, you are suffering from inner conflict. And the cool part was, the fun part was when I posted this video about peace, the actual title, which I didn't consciously remember at the beginning of the conversation when I was saying you have an inner conflict, and the title is actually peace or interconflict, right? So that was dope. Confirmation. But anyway, yeah, where we at here? So you post all these fortune cookies and then you try to leave because the mirror getting close and you learning you're not at peace, you're suffering from inner conflict, and you work so hard to give everyone the illusion that you are at peace and have it all together because you are afraid of heartbreak. You must enjoy the heartbreak. You can't truly know peace until you go beyond the heartbreak. You know what I'm saying? Because the stuff that we learned is gonna break your heart when you find out there's more to it, or it's not true, or you got to go further. You thought you were finished, but there's another level. You got to go to the next level, and you find out that step isn't the last step. There's still more steps. It's a moment of heartbreak. Some of us take it differently than others, but if we call a spade, it's heartbreak. Like, shit, yeah, I made it. Fuck, there's more I gotta do. It's like you did you at work. And you did all this stack of paperwork, whatever it is you gotta do. You moved all this shit from over here to over there, and then you're like, "Yeah, man, I did that. I got 2 hours left of the day. I did some good. I'm cool." And they come in and say, "Hey, we just got all this shit that came in. We need you to go over it. Come on, hurry up." And you're like, "Fuck." That's a moment of heartbreak. It's okay though. It's okay. So that song there kind of deals with heartbreak. I found it all. I found it all in heartbreak. Everything that we love. Because see, people don't even know what love means. They don't know it's proto-Germanic lubo, Lubo, which means a different grade. You know, but that's another video. Go check it out. So anyway, so I said, so then I had to let them know what gaslighting was, because we should leave it there is equal to let's agree to disagree, which is equal to gaslighting. And see, I'm mental health awareness and emotional intelligence, so you know that's why I made the song Gaslighting, to let you know what it is. Check that out. You know what I mean? Shameless plug. I know. But here we go. So to keep it going, he responds, all this opportunity to learn something, and here's the response. Egomaniac. And it's not to say it's a super huge thing. Like I said, this is very subtle. It's very passive. And this is what was surprising to me is this is what made me expand in my mind, like, oh shit, this is going on a lot more places and a lot more conversations in the conscious community, at work, and friends, relationships, and all kinds of relationships, your spouse, whatever you got going on. I'm like, yo, I didn't realize how prevalent and pronounced this is. That's why I had to make this video. So here we go. The response is, peace, brother. I only see only peace in you. The same peace I see in me. Now hold on. See, this is where we gotta make clarity here, bro. If you have the same level of peace that I'm at, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now, because there's levels to this shit, and you're not where I'm at with this conversation because you don't have the same peace. So we got to make that clear, and that's what I did here. Because don't let someone tell you. See, when they tell you that y'all the same, they trying to diminish your value. You see what I mean? They try, you put in all the work to get here. They instead of telling themselves they here, they want to just, well, you know what? Pfft, we see eye to eye. You're on the same level as me. No, we don't. No. And it's not like, you know, aggression. It's not like something bad. It's just, you got to remember what it say. You got to maintain your self-esteem. See, they try to make you less than who you are at that point. Oh yeah. I see this say, bro, it's peace. See, gaslighting, right? I only see peace only in you. It's the same peace I see in me. No, it's not. I want you to get to this level, but you're not here right now. That's why we going through all this. So the response I gave was no, fam. We are different. There's levels to this shit. We are not the same. You know, you are mankind, which is what he said, you know, and you say you vibrate on human levels because you in the flesh, the heart, the mind, you want to go within. See, you live within. I'm God. Little G-O-D though, like not capitalized G-O-D, you know, but we talked about that. So different levels, omnipresent, different infinities within infinity. I showed you the way to the staircase to climb beyond your comfort zone. Do what thou wilt. Don't let them take from you who you are. See, you got to know you. They will definitely try to rob you of yourself. Okay? Don't let that happen. Maintain control of yourself. It's not even about them at that point. It's about you maintaining control of yourself. Because if you're not careful and you start believing that, oh, okay, yeah, we're at the same level and it's that, the other. That's why they want to get you to value the fortune cookie. So that when they hand you the next fortune cookie, you be like, oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, you right. You know, they get you under the spell. They want to possess you now. They trying to put that voodoo, that magic on you. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna make sure that don't happen to you. That's why we doing this video. So look. So I go, okay, so he says, brother, I totally now look, I just told him we're not on the same. All right, so look, watch this, right? So, brother, I totally get you. I would not believe me if I were you either. Like, you telling yourself, I like when people, when you get really good at this shit, right? I'll tell you the easiest way to get someone to know what they need to hear, right? Because, you know, we talk the way we talk. But when you get into that connection, you'll find that alignment that you in, you'll start having them tell themselves what they need to hear in their own words. Now you see how you need to say it to them. Or what you need, what angle you need to take for them. Okay? So here we go. Brother, I totally, cause see, he don't understand. I'm connected. I'm more connected with his heart than he is right now. See, his heart is talking to me in this conversation, which I tell him later on. Cause we empaths. Like, we got this empath shit going on. You know, I don't like calling psychics and all that shit. You know, I don't really like titles, but to try and get to the, you know, I'm connected, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I have to stay away from people. I feel shit they don't want me to know about them, and then, you know. So, but anyway, he said, brother, I totally get you. I would not believe me if I were you either. Like, you telling yourself what you need to know. Now you gotta ask yourself, why wouldn't you believe yourself if you were me? Like, ask yourself why you wouldn't believe yourself. Like. But people don't hear themselves talk. So that's the point. He even affirms the fact. That's the point. So I totally get you. I would not believe me if I were you either. That's the point. Then he goes, this is where the mind and ego comes back to egomaniac. Don't believe, never believe. Get to know it, court it, get closer to it. Now you're telling yourself exactly what you need to hear. It's not, you're closer to it, you're going the wrong direction. You need to go outside yourself. Don't believe it's within. Never believe it's within. Get to know it. Where is it at? Court it. It's in the atmosphere. That's why I made that song for you, Atmosphere. Get closer to it. Then he goes, time teaches all. And I was like, wow, this is amazing shit. So I said, yeah, quote, time teaches all is exactly why I advised you to take time to review the material or content above. So take time to review it, then take time to let it digest, then take time to practice it in real life. Then will be the time for you to respond. Take time, my friend. You are rushing. Take time. Enjoy. Obviously, there's a few times I done tried to bring closure so that he could know to you know, get the message there. So yeah, some words from the chat. Rejuvenation. Ashanet says okay, and then belittle. We got a preach going on there, and then be less. Yeah, they want you to be. Yes, they want you to be less blessed. Yeah, come down to my level. Agree that you're here with me. Sign this contract that say you don't know what you're talking about, so I can feel better about myself. That's what that really is. See, it's self-centeredness. That's the egomaniac. And then Ashanet says time doesn't exist. Yes, great point, because what really, they did a video. He was in a video. Like, if you watch the channel, you seen me and Trish do some mini episodes between my page and I mean my channel and her channel. And then he was on a video of hers talking about meditation. And you know, I invite anybody to, you know, within a certain comprehension level and, you know, mindset to come and have a conversation with me on YNet7. So if you in the chat or you watching this video, shoot me an email or send me an inbox or something if you got a topic you want to discuss, and we can calendar that and get it done, and because it's for the people ultimately. So anyway, I was supporting Trish's channel watching the video because I like to see what I can learn from other people. I don't discriminate. You know what I mean? Like Ashana says, I'm both the student and the teacher at the same time, right? So when he got a point where he was talking about how, you know, he started off meditation and he didn't feel like it was working, right? And he couldn't really get into it. It was all this cloudiness and noise, you know, stuff like that. And then he said, you know, during the lockdowns, he had a lot of extra time, like many of us did, and he found himself being able to go an hour in meditation all the way up to like 2 hours. So I was sitting there like, you know what? I had to ask myself, like, again, I ain't beyond self study, right? I was like, damn. I said, I be thinking about meditating. I be getting that, you know, sometime, you know what I mean? And I'd be like, but 2 hours, you know, and I know people that are heavy in yoga and, you know, and martial arts, and they be zoning out and shit for good periods of time. But I was like, okay, so Pasha, why don't you be doing meditation for 2 hours? What would be the benefit, or why don't you? And what I came to was basically what Ashana is talking about, is when she said time doesn't exist. And I was like, you know why? You know what the answer to that is, Pasha? The answer is you have in your toolbox that maybe someone else don't, right? You have a high level experience and an intimate relationship with the truth of infinity. And so when you look at infinity, you have negative infinity and you have positive infinity, right? For most people, think about it like that. But you also have infinity between the numbers 1 and the number 2. So within that limitation of space, there also exists infinity. So I realized that what is really going on when you access that part of yourself, that whatever that is you want to call it, that's not in here anymore, right? The omnipresence, which is why you see me talking about, man, I got angels and demons, you know what I mean? I rock with seer and person. I got, you know what I mean? I got spirits around me, you know what I mean? Like, I know I can. So anyway, I was like, so what's going on is when you really get in tune with that shit, like when you ask a person a question and you say, hey, why is such and such, such and such? And they go, you know what? That's a good question. Right? Where did they go for that fucking, what seemed like 2 seconds? Where the fuck did they go? You see what I'm saying? And in reality, it felt like 2 seconds on this level, but they might have got somewhere wherever they went to and did a whole fucking shit in another dimension, in another world, another plane of existence. And it might have been 4 hours on that plane of existence worth of thought process and work or whatever. And then they came back to you in a moment that felt like 2 seconds here and said, oh, here's the answer. And I was like, Pasha, that's why you don't meditate for 2 hours. Because you in tune with the infinity. You either go off and you can come back and it was 4 hours somewhere else or 2 hours and you came back in a couple seconds, or you went off and said, does not compute, need more input, data, input, and you came back and said, you know what, I don't know, but I can get back to you because you know, Virgos, we efficient. We be all about efficiency. So Avia says they trying to curse us. Have a blessed day. Be less than them. Yeah, it all in what we believe, though. We have to flip the script. Yes, I'll prosper. I will prosper. So be it. Right. And then, yep. And Ashanet agrees with her. Yep. Okay. So see, that's what it is. Time don't exist to us. All right. So, and this is why we're like, I don't, you know, like, damn, bro, you could have got this. You had 20. Okay. So look, but here we go. Now I'm like, okay, cool. This is going to help me help others. This is going to eventually help me help him. If he wants to receive the help, you can't force it upon him. But ultimately, this is going to be great for the community as a whole. So sometimes the Most High uses the devil, if you want to look at it like that, in others for the good of your greater purpose. You see? Because he or she, the Most High, whatever you want to call it, he or she, the universe, whatever it is for you, say, hey, we're going to put this devilment in him for the moment so he can produce this content for you. And then because you're in tune, you're connected, you're going to be sitting there like, oh shit, I can teach the world with this. Go ahead, let me see how far this goes. I'm going to keep going with it. Yup. and people looking at you like, damn, he spent 4 hours having this conversation. I would never done that. Yeah, because you ain't on this mission. You ain't on this mission that we are. And you ain't connected to the source that said, do this, and then that'll allow you to do that for the betterment of humanity. All right, let's get back to this. So then he goes, so the response you get then from the egomaniac, again, not as a negative term, just as a description of actions, activities, behavior. There you go. That's Trisha's word, behavior. It's not the title. They're not the egomaniac. She would say it like the egomaniac is not the person, it's the behavior. Okay, there you go. Disclaimer for your entertainment purposes. All right, so no rush indeed. Yes, make time, enjoy. Yes, again, we are talking about the same thing. Here we go again with the Avia Belest and Ashana with the Aseo. You know what I mean? So it says sounds like he's asking without asking or knowing. Yes, I agree, Ashana. And the question is, does he know? He don't know, or is he actually doing it purposely for the egomaniac situation? Which, like, he can be ignorant to what he's doing and still look like an egomaniac in his behavior, or he could be aware of what he's doing and purposely being an egomaniac for his own self gratification. So we can't be quick to judge, but what we have identified is something's off here. And that's why I was like, well, what is it? And we're going to get to it, so stay with me. I'm going to run through this because now we'll see where we get into the opportunity real soon, where we're going to see how we can start to help the people around us once we work through this process with them. And honestly, if I was more in tune with this like a week ago, I could have saved some of these steps and I could have maybe done it quicker. But this is how it had to happen for me to learn and become, move forward. And it was great that it happened this way because now we get to show the world, okay, how to help each other. All right, so instead of like repeating what I said about the whole him trying to put me down on the same level so he can feel better about himself, I just said simply, hey, remember there are levels to everything. Peace. Like, peace, I'm out, right? Because at this point I was still like, okay, no, not to the egomaniac that's got to have the last word. I am simple. The simplest level. And I was like, this is brilliant. This is really fucking brilliant. And this is where I was like, you know what? I'm all in. I'm chips all in, chips on the board now, because this is when it really hit me like, oh shit, that's exactly what it is. You're at the entry level and you don't realize it. But again, because we're in connection with the circuit in the sky and we're speaking to the heart in him, that the heart wants to talk to us. The mind wants to talk to us. See, but the flesh is keeping him from hearing it. The conversation. All right? So he said, I am simple. The simplest level. And I was like, I know. That's what I've been saying. Which brings us back to where we started. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. And I gave him back that little passage of the lyrics. And I said, your promotion, right, is in what I've offered you in this conversation. Take time in silence. Reflect. Because you like to meditate. So, like, go meditate on this shit, right? Not to the person that needs to have the last word. Silence every day, yes, beyond thoughts. So, it's amusing and frustrating if you allow it to be, but it's fun. It's fun because it's sharpening it's making sure you stay sharp. So I realized, like I said, this is a great exercise. And at this point, I'm just exercising. I'm exercising myself. All right, so my response to that was, see, your weakness of needing to have the last word brings me such joy. This is a great exercise and will make a great video when I review it on my channel. See, you got people that want to talk shit about you later on. But what they can never say about Pasha is Pasha didn't talk to them about what they talking to you about them about. You see what I'm saying? They can never say that. They may try to gaslight me, whatever, but I never said anything to someone about someone that I didn't say to them or immediately let them know the same thing. I think that's important. So let's continue. And I even tell them, look, I'm gonna make a video about this on my channel. Like, you already know how I roll, cause it's not about you. It's about all of us. Okay. I know you want to be self-centered, so we gonna make you the center of attention. We gonna use your devilment for the greater purpose. Since you want to be the center of attention, you spotlight. Okay, spotlight. So I'm learning much about you, and see, when you get into big corporations and businesses, what they taught me when I was senior account manager in the financial world was that each person that in big business, they look at each person, each customer represents 60,000 people, at least to them, because people are 13 times more likely to tell a negative story if something happens than they are a good one. I try to make sure it's balanced for me, because I know this shit. So I work hard to do that. Not to say that I'm put this on the charger real quick. All right. So knowing this shit kind of helps you in certain ways, right? So big business looks at everybody, every customer as representing 60,000 people. That's why they spend so much money on retention efforts. They spend more money on retention sometimes than they do actually marketing for new customers, because it's easier to keep the ones you have than to go and get new ones. All right. So I can take this and apply to a situation like this. Like, yeah, I'm learning much about you, and you represent at least 60,000 other people to me, because I'm going to operate on that level of shit that I know. So please continue to share more about this disorder I am studying. I have given you clarity, proven you are not the authority, and offer solutions, yet you insist on painting insanity. What do you call this disorder? How does one get used to it? See, because some people don't get my songs, so I like when stuff like this happens, and I talk to people. I'm always sharing my content, because that's why I made it, so that it can help people in a way that they wouldn't otherwise get the message, potentially. You know what I'm saying? I make YouTube videos, I make music. It's all to heal the world, you know. All right, so here we go. And I know you can do the same thing. So there's that, whatever creativity, if you paint, if you do whatever it is you do, I encourage you to do it, because that, you got to know that's part of your message to the world. So don't restrict yourself in those arenas for any reason. Just do it. You'll get better at it. You'll get used to it. Just do it. All right? Don't be stagnant, remember? Okay. So, because what's clear is that you don't like new information. And part of this song says, I promised mama lied when she said you ain't worth a damn thing. Middle of the night, left home without a damn thing. You gonna be next, feeling like the world owe you everything. So you can get used to it. You see what I'm saying? So I need to know how people get used to this shit, so that we can know how to make them not want to be used to it anymore. Okay. So I asked, do you need to have the last remark so that when you walk away from the conversation, the last thing you remember will be yourself? Is that how you avoid any potential lessons provided to you in the conversation? Is that what makes you think you can teach everyone because you have listened to no one? What is it? Okay, so here we go. Brother, I only listen to my heart. I only listen to silence and to peace. What is the harm in that? Oh, okay, good question. Good question. Now we getting somewhere. Cause see now I'm extracting what his drug is at this point. And if you're commenting, give me a minute. I'm gonna let my phone charge. It's one of them. I used to have the old phones where we'd be sitting over there for hours, but you know, it'll give me a few minutes and I'll pull it back off, and I'll get your comments if you left any comments on there. So, because I'm figuring out how to use it now. This is exciting. So then I go, hey, look, but I said, yeah, but you're not listening to your heart. Your heart brought you here to my page today to receive a message. I've been speaking to your heart this whole time. Your mind keeps blocking why your heart brought you here. This is your inner conflict. As I mentioned earlier, your heart is not you. Your heart is part of the machine that the real you is controlling. This is why you have an imbalance. You are not connected to the externals of the flesh. This is a case of egocentricity. As I'm like, wow, this is exciting. As you believe you are the flesh, which is why you make the body going within. That's why you need that to be in the center of all your attention. And I said this is a unique case of egomania. This really opened my eyes to society. Thank you for sharing. Like I'm sincere with my shit. And I said, did this insecurity come from disappointment in others? Because my thing is at this time I'm trying to figure out why he's disconnected from like what we would call source or God or the Most High or the universe. Why is this disconnection happening? So I'm trying to figure this out, because that's what I do. All right. So anyway, but that now you see why people run from us, because they come with their little representatives, their little fake shit their little facade they want to put on, like, hey, I'm so and so, and I like apples and travel, and you're like, okay, sit down, let's talk. And then 10 minutes later, like, you know what, I gotta go because it's getting uncomfortably hot because you're cooking them. They used to other shit, not on this level. Okay? You didn't mean to. You were just like, oh, cool, I got a new person to learn about. Hey, how you? You ever like, oh, no, make it stop. Right? So, all right. Did this insecurity come from disappointment in others? But that wouldn't have cut you off from source if it was just disappointment in others alone. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm kind of thinking out loud here, but asking questions about it at the same time. So what caused your disappointment in capital G-O-D? The Most High, the universe, or the spiritual world? What happened that made you lose trust in what's greater than you? Not the perceived authority figures, but what happened that made you lose trust in what's beyond the flesh? And then I asked, what were you a victim of? So here's the painting of the facade. I am a victim of peace, beautiful peace, the superpower rarely known as peace. And I do very much appreciate your concern. Thank you. Now see, the way the energy came to me was this part here. That's his defense. And then this part here, that's his, when he say he connects to his heart or whatever, that's his heart. See, there's something there, and it's like there's two people inside. And we get to this later on, because the first one said, they wanted to put the mask on. No, ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm perfectly fine. What are you talking about? And then the other, the Dr. Jekyll or the Mr. Hyde, whichever one you want to say, said, came out and said, what, and I do thank you very much. I appreciate your concern. Thank you. There's a side of him that's crying out for help. You see what I'm saying? And this is not about him. This is about everybody around you that's doing the same thing in their own way. And see, we were sent to be here on this world at this time because we can tune into that shit. We need to do the work. Okay? And if we don't accept that, what our responsibility is, then not only do we do ourselves injustice, but we do the world injustice. And it takes us that much longer to reach critical mass for the change that we need to have happen. Okay? That's why this is important for those on this side of the coin. All right. So, and I said, no. I responded to that, no. You're hiding from yourself. I'm learning. This explains your fortune cookie statements. That's how you try, or you're used to, applying dominance in an attempt to force others to concede in a discussion. See, if we just throw enough shit out there, eventually most people would have just been like, all right, man, you have a good day, I'm done. You know, this shit works when you at work and your break only 15 minutes long, right? You can just keep going out there, and eventually people are like, damn, man, all right, I gotta go back to work. And then you get to feel like, yeah, I won that conversation, right? That egomaniac would feel satisfied at that point. But they haven't moved the scale either way. They haven't learned nothing. They haven't climbed up. They just kept throwing up a shield, a block, right? A block for them to receive and a block for them to give. All right, so now we know that. Now we recognizing that we're getting in. We're putting the work in now. See, all right, now it gets to work. So I said, yeah, okay, we went through that part. So I said, hey, that's why you can't explain. You aren't used to being questioned, and not used to being questioned may mean that he's just not used to answering questions. See, but he don't know. I'm not talking to him. I'm talking to the Most High through him. I'm talking to his higher self through him because I'm connected. We're connected. That's why we can do this shit. Okay? So, I said, so you never had to explain, and the devil is in the details. That's another video that me and Trish titled. All right? Great one. Go check it out. So, I do hold... And he responds, I do wholeheartedly appreciate your concerns. Very sweet. See, now what we're really getting into now is his defenses is now becoming not as powerful as it was against whatever he's got inside of him that wants to come out. You see what I'm saying? It's like it's like when a person is possessed by an entity or a spirit and they don't realize it. And you start talking to the person on the inside that's being held hostage, and you know this is a hostage negotiating situation right here. That's what we're doing. We negotiating the hostage's life right now. You see what I mean? So the hostage is in there talking about, I do wholeheartedly appreciate your concerns. Very sweet. So I reply, as I said, I'm investigating in you so you can help heal others beyond your current capabilities. I'm helping the world by helping you. This is really how I look at this shit. So Honey responds saying, what I do is not for everyone. Oh, okay. Now we get into it somewhere. See, this is an important statement. But peace is for everyone, whether we appreciate peace or not. So that's the gaslighting part, trying to say, like, you know, I'm not appreciative of his peace, right? Or his version of peace, which has been this whole thing. You know, you've been seeing that going on for a while. But what's key here when you look at this statement is, what I do is not for everyone. You see, that's separate. That's some separatism shit, right? But why? So what made it magical though is he saying, what I do is not for everyone, but peace is for everyone. So I throw out. So that's when I realized, oh, and I'll tell you in a moment. So he said, and then here comes the hostage. Now the hostage is speaking again. Thank you for your help. I appreciate it as a gesture from one human being to another. I thank you. You see how we're dealing with a split personality here. I mean, if you want to call it as such, right? So Avia says, why is he arguing with you? He could block you or whatever. He's choosing to argue with you. Well, first of all, he's on my page. And you know, to honestly answer that question, I had other conversations, smaller, shorter conversations on his page, you know, cuz when I responded to a couple things about the video he did with Trish, you know, he engaged in that conversation, which was interesting. This is where I started learning about him. Then he sent me a friend request. And then, you know, me, just like I did you guys, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm on y'all page, like, hey, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. Check this out, do that. We're busting it up. We enjoying each other, right? You may think I'm weird in the beginning, but then you know, we move past that and we grow, or else, like you said, we depart. So when I had some of the other, there was only like 2, maybe 3 engagements on his page interactions, and this is what I realized, that he had like this fortune cookie shit going on, and I was just like, well, you know what? I spent some time there, giving some insight. He wasn't receptive. He wanted to, and I was like, okay, cool. You know what? Cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. So I kind of, but now when you come to my page, and I'm like, you saw me trying to just be like, cool earlier. Here, take this, go do something with this, learn about this. Take 2 of these, call me in the AM. And then I got to the point where I was like, yo, this is going on for that reason I said earlier. The Most High put the devilment in him because this is going to be a greater lesson for all, because they already, the ancestors, Most High, higher self, universe, they already knew what I was supposed to do with it. And then I got the message halfway through this, like, oh, we're having this discussion because this is egomania, and look how big it really is. This is powerful conversation for all the community, right? But he could, to answer your question though, to make it fit in line, is he could have stopped at any moment. He could have just said, he didn't have to go to blocking me. I mean, he's commenting on my shit, but he could have stopped. But the reason he couldn't is because of the last word syndrome of the egomaniac. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I'm showing out here, is that aggressive behavior don't mean it's life threatening. You know what I'm saying? Every aggression ain't about that type of energy, but it's very passive. Okay, so let's continue. That was a good observation of you. So yeah. So he says, "What I do isn't for everyone, but peace is." All right, and then the hostage comes out and is speaking again, saying, "Thank you for your help. I appreciate it as a gesture from one human being to another. I thank you." See, so I'm realizing there's a cry for help there. You know what I'm saying? I'm connecting with that. So now it became more of, it went from, which is all part of the whole grand scheme of things, I guess. So, because sometimes people that need help, even though they on the surface are saying they don't want to admit they need help, they come to you because they know they need help. You see what I'm saying? That may also be the case of it. So we don't actually know, because there's an infinity of possibility there as well too. So we just got to embrace the infinity. We know what's happening. We know what we're supposed to do, and it's what we need to do. And you'll see here, we're almost done. Stay with me. So I said, so I had to, like this, like, I'm like, damn, what, he's suicidal or something? So I was like, yo, you are for everyone as well, whether they realize it or not. Okay, you have value. And then I'm thinking, like, it's not power that you're after. I don't see that as power that he's after here. I don't feel that vibe. There is a little arrogance, but I think that's more in defense of something. But your last statement wants to make me revisit insecurity. Okay, see, this why you either have people that rock with you or they run from us. You know what I mean? Because you like me. You guys are like me. That's why you're enjoying this right now, because you have a great work to do in your community around you, and that's why you relate to this. Okay, so let's get this work. So I said, so you put peace and other fortune cookie statements in front of yourself as a mask or shield to hide what? And see, the hostage comes out again and says, "Thank you, great conversation." See, now he wants to run. The hostage is saying thank you. The ego is saying, I'm ready to beat the fuck up out of here because it's getting hot. Right? Okay. We got to recognize these signs. So I said, what part of you do you feel is not for everyone? And I'm not talking about, certain areas. So get that out of your mind. What I'm saying is, what part of you do you feel is not for everyone? Okay? So this is why I'm asking, what are you hiding? I'm an empath, as they title it. I don't like titles, but to make it make sense, you can't hide from me. That's why our conversations cost you great effort, because Avia, that ties into what you were saying earlier. Like, we've had previous interactions. This is why I'm already tuned into the behavior from him from the start. Okay, if that adds clarity and adds value to how we got here. So I said, what part or parts of your castle have you locked away? Okay, and that ties in exactly what you're saying, Avia, because like, excuse me, like you said, he could have left. You know, and that's what I'm saying. Is the conversations cost him great effort, but it's because he's defending. But there's the hostage inside that's like, no, please help. You see, that's part of why this is going the way it is. And I didn't realize that when I made the decision to go chips all in. But this might have been why the Most High, higher self, universe, whatever you want to call it, said, no, you all in with this one. You got to go all in. You got to ride this one through. So when you have that feeling, you know the difference between when you get that signal that says, all right, man, be done with this. Get up out here. You got somewhere to be. And you know the difference when something tells you, nah, man, you got to ride this one out. It's a reason why you getting those different signals. So we're going to see in a moment here. So, you know, at this point, I'm like, okay, well, we are on Facebook. So I'm like, yo, would you like to call me? If so, I'll inbox you my number. You know what I mean? I got time. You know what I'm saying? I really care about people, because a lot of the reason why shit is the way it is because of these imbalances and shit. And it's kind of fucked up that we know this shit, you and I, and we almost feel helpless at times because there's so much that we could do to help people if only they were receptive. And I know you're like me, where you done told people stuff for years, and then as soon as somebody that they give more credibility to or more fame or fortune say the same thing you said 6 years ago, they come to you like they heard it for the first time. And you're like, man, we lost 7 years of productivity with this shit because you couldn't just be real with yourself when I said it. So we kind of fighting this battle together, all right? Because we running out of time. You see, they getting the zombies. I ain't gonna call them zombies, but they getting the supporters on their side ready to tell you how you supposed to live, which is in violation of your freedom and rights and pursuit of happiness. But you know, that's the issue with democracy. That's why we know we're a part of a republic. We're not operating in a democracy. So Ashanet says, addicted to over speaking or over talking the next person. Yeah. Egomania. So let's go here. Where we at? So yeah, I said, hey, you know, would you like to call me? Like, we could take this offline. You know, maybe we can go further if it's in private. I offered him that as an opportunity. You know what I mean? So his response is, it's simple conversations, simple words, simple feelings. Peace is simple, and that's that blessing shit, right? It's not simple. It's complex. It's very complex. It feels simple once you embrace the complexity, which you haven't done yet, and which he hasn't done yet in this case. So I said, hey, take the shield back down. That's the old you. That's the you that you created to hide the you that you think society doesn't like or want. Your heart was coming out. Let it come out. It wants to breathe. Let your heart breathe. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know what I mean? So go into the past. What disconnected you from what you cannot see? Because I'm trying to figure this out. I'm still wondering why the disconnection to the external, regardless of title, label, whatever you want to call it. So what disconnected you from what you cannot see? Did you have an imaginary friend and, you know, many people or your parents made fun of you for having it? Did you see a ghost? Nobody believed you? Did you feel like if the Most High exists, then how could these things happen in the world today? You know, what disconnected you from source? The response I got was, and this is where the magic moment was, because you know I be into some shit, right? So the beauty of this conversation is we will still be talking to each other in 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years, and the topic, I know what the topic will be. See, the hostage is communicating with me, and I'm into the tarot and numerology and all this shit. If you need a reading, hit me up. You know what I mean? If you want a reading, hit me up. I do it differently. You get it's trust me, it's the shit. A lot of positive feedback on it. From Jamaica to California. I've even had someone hit me up from London one day. I was surprised with that. So my response to that is, I can't promise you that, right? So we must make the most of the time we have today. See, because what that is that's the deflection. And at first I was thinking, okay, that's like the one. I can't promise you that no matter what you say, because we're not gonna be having these conversations for 5 years. I don't care who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like I will have planted the seed or whatever, and I will allow someone else to come through and water that shit. Trust me. All right. So we must make the most of the time we had today, because now I'm looking at like, no, we gotta. If I entertain the fact that you feel like you gotta have all the time you want, you're gonna take that time. But no, if you don't let me know what's going on today, it could be the end. You got to know that tomorrow is never really promised. All right. So I said, so you felt ignored or abandoned. Now here's where the thing happened, right? Listen to his statement. This is the hostage talking. This is the connection with the Most High, whatever you want to call it, circuit with the sky complete, right? The beauty of this conversation is we will still be talking to each other in 1 year, 5 year, or 10 years. See, that's like that where they be like, you know, if you're in danger, blink 4 times. You know what I mean? Like, you know, one of these little signals and shit. That's what the hostage is doing on the inside. The hostage is being held captive. This was a sign for me. I'm gonna tell you because it wasn't. I knew it was a sign because there was something energetically that hit me right after I gave this statement, and then you'll see this. So, and the topic, ? I know what the topic will be. I posted this next comment before the download happened, right? So I said, I can't promise you that. So we must make the most of the time we have today. So you felt ignored or abandoned. Now, like, that was natural. Then the energy came down and said, your message is right there. So 1, 5, and 10 is 16, which equals 7. Now 7 in numerology is all about answers. I know I'd be getting scary. I would be scared if I didn't know this shit. So Avea said, if he wants to be left alone, I would let him be. We can't force him. Maybe he will come around, have change of mind. If not, he's in the Most High hands. Yeah, like granted, that would be the case until I was researching. Because see, once I started realizing this term, I pulled it up and I'm cross-referencing while I'm doing this case study, so to speak, which is a good point. And like I told you, there was a point where I said, the download came to me and said, Pasha, you all in on this one. Ride this one all the way out. Like I said, you got to know when to trust yourself. Somebody else, another time, you're right, I would have been feeling the same way. But there was something about this conversation that said, no, Pash, no matter what, you riding this one all the way out. If it take you all fucking night, that's what you ready to do. So that's what I did. I'm obedient to my, to that download. I know the connection I have. If I don't be obedient, something's not going to be right. Okay? So I agree with you in normal circumstances, but like I said, when you get that signal, you got to be obedient to yourself. And this is where we're getting into why this became an issue, why this happened. So, and also remember that part of the egomania is they're trying to get you to bow out of the conversation. Remember, we just went over that. So part of this was like, nah, we're not gonna bow out of this conversation. You're riding this one all the way out. So that was put into me for something positive that I didn't understand at the time, but now we're getting into why. Okay, so 1, 5, 10 equals 16, which equals 7. That equates to answers. So when I look back at the previous comment I gave, the last thing I said was, so you felt ignored or abandoned. See? And the last thing in his statement before that was, right? Check out his statement again. Let's replay this. The beauty of this conversation. See, the hostage, we're on this energetic plane. The hostage inside, the Most High, I'm talking to the Most High through people. That's why the flesh gets cooked sometimes, because it don't want that conversation to go on. The frequency's too high, the connection's too strong, the energy wave is cooking them. That's why they gotta get rid of you from their life, because they don't like that you can extract the drug from them. It's a codependency factor, you know what I mean? Like, think about an addict of any drug. They appreciate those who sympathize with their habit. When you start talking about breaking the habit, they see you as the enemy. They want you to leave them alone so they can go continue their addiction. All right. So, yeah, Ashanet, he likes your wisdom and doesn't know how to show gratitude to his fellow brother. Think, and you're right, and let's refine that statement a little bit. He is the hostage, being held hostage inside of the body or inside of himself. The possession, whatever's possessing him, is the face that's actually in control, though. Which is why I'm saying there's that split personality happening, where we got the shield mentality that's putting up all these shields, these fortune cookie shit, right? Distraction techniques. And then every now and then in the beginning, we started to hear little outbursts from, that's why I'm calling it the hostage. The hostage is the real him. So you're right. I agree with you on there. We just got to know the real him is being held hostage. And Avia says, so what was your diagnosis? This is a very subtle, or this is how subtly egomaniacs or egomania can present itself in what you see around you. There's no real abuse here. That's why I said aggression doesn't mean abuse. Okay? And again, take this equation and pull this variable out and look at the conversations you've had with people, and you can see the same shit happening in your conversations, even though they're totally about a different subject. Other than the ego problem, do you think he will harm himself or others? Everybody has the potential to, right? I mean, if we, everybody's capable, whether they admit that to themselves or not. I mean, when you got the people that be like, oh my God, I would never kill nobody. Oh, well, you haven't thought about someone breaking in your home at 5 a.m. when your family's upstairs, have you, buddy? Tell me you never would kill nobody. You better kill somebody in that situation for your entertainment purposes, right? So, that's a loaded question. So let's just continue here, all right? But good question though. And this is why there was a point where I was like, okay, let me make sure he's okay. This is why you saw me go as far to say, hey, you want to call me offline? Let's talk about this offline. I want to make sure you're okay. Like, I genuinely care about people, even when they don't care about themselves. And sometimes the reason why they need to get rid of you is because they don't, you showing them how to care about themselves is something that, again, is taking that drug away from you get what I'm at with it. Okay, let's go on. So let's review this. So now that we are on that level with the energy, we can see how this actually, you can see how the graph went right through these two things, and they're all connected. So the conversation, or the beauty of this conversation, is we will still be talking to each other in 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years. That's the code. Okay? Sent from the Most High. The mathematics is the language of the gods. You've already heard that. So, and the topic, at least for me, it was. And at that moment, that was a sign. I didn't grasp it right away, but seconds later, it was like, oh, shit. But when I look back at it now, part of the reason why it didn't come to me immediately is because I had to key this out as a response, because now that's the completion right there. So the beauty of this conversation is we will still be talking to each other in 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years, and the topic with a question mark. You see what I'm saying? Check out this. You can't make this shit up. And the topic with the question mark. Okay? I know what the topic will be. Now look at my statement. The topic with the question mark is at the bottom. So you felt ignored or abandoned. Question mark. You see that I can see shit. I can't say anybody else would see it or know it, but when you in the zone with that shit, you know you've had shit like this happen in your life. That's why you here. That's why you fuck with this shit, because you got your own similarities and shit that you done been through like this. All right. So then what hit me was 1, 5, and 10 is 16. That's 7. That's the answer. And I was like, 7, which equates to answers. That's the answer. So you felt ignored or abandoned. Now watch how this plays out. And I say, hey, I'm supporting your need for attention. See, Avia? I'm supporting your need for attention. If you don't want me to stop and go away, you have to tell me who ignored you, why you feel abandoned. All right? So he said, or I say, I continue, is this why you have your back turned in your profile picture? Is that why your subconscious chose that one? You know? And the picture, and in the picture you're playing the guitar. You know, that represents your busyness and activities you provide yourself so that you don't forget about it, or so that you forget about what you're hiding, right? You see what I'm saying? Like I'm starting to get into another realm of shit here. It's kind of hard to explain, okay? And now we're closing out here, okay? This is the last part. So he goes, here's the defense mechanism, right? And it's also truth. You see, because I had to be acceptant to what he said to realize what the Most High or the higher energy and frequencies was communicating with me. So what you see in me is really in you, brother. These are your thoughts, brother, alone. No one else thoughts but your own thoughts. So I respect your thoughts. See, the hostage is speaking. Now, I could have had an opportunity to miss this and be like, no, these are not, you know, rah, 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 and get rah, you know, because I'm off center, right? But when you stay focused, I was like, yes, because I'm connected with Source. That allows me to tap into you. You see what I'm saying? This is why I'm getting this feedback. It's part of the connection with the sky being complete. The circuit with the sky being complete. I knew it coeptus. So if I can explain it simply, so what I'm saying is, because I'm connected with Source, that allows me to tap into you if I can explain it simply. I mentioned your heart has been sharing with me the whole time, and your mind shows in your actions, etc. Now put the shield back down. I said, see, you like that in your profile picture is actually showing one side of you. The side that you want to be seen. But it's hiding another side of you. There's definitely a disconnect from the source. But you're also hiding or hidden a side of yourself. A side of yourself that you feel like isn't for everyone. You did this to keep the peace, and this is why peace is the center of your obsession. I can't explain how I do this shit, but I mean, I do it, and maybe you can see it, what happened there, and maybe you can't, but walk with me through this. So, Avia says, I understand you feel like it's meant and you were chosen to pull him out of a dark place you feel he is in due to a fee, or let's say a few reasons, including his profile. To be honest with you, I can't guarantee. I said he has value also. I can't guarantee that this was for him. Remember that, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, this whole display could have been so that this video could be made because it's going to save someone's life in Texas. I don't know. I just know what I'm supposed to do. And then I know, because I'm in tune, I know the signs when I see them, and they tell me what I'm supposed to do next. I can't really explain it. Like I said, I don't like titles, but people call it similar shit, empath shit, whatever they want to call it. I don't go as far as psychic because, it's like I said, I don't like titles, but if it was psychic shit, like, you should be able to ask me what the number going to be tomorrow, and I should be able to be like, oh, 556, and then we all be millionaires, right? It doesn't work like that for me, but when it does do what it does, like, I'm always right type shit. And what it is that you gotta, it's that moment where you just gotta know to trust yourself. You just got practice. There's times in your life where you be like, yo, I should do this, and then you don't do it, and then you realize for whatever reason, oh man, I should have did what I said right? When you go through that routine, start asking yourself, what was I feeling? What was that feeling like? What was the energy like? What was that? And then you can start to practice knowing the feeling. If that helps you, like, you'll know the feeling, like your emotions. I'm not saying, when I say I'm emotionally unavailable and I'm not emotional, I don't mean I don't have emotions. I mean, you got to know that there's signals, and then you got to know signals for what. Like, you got to understand what they're signaling. Like, you know, we've all learned that when the car puts on the left turn signal in front of us, well, we expect it's getting ready to move left. It's not always the case, but we, you know, because they're human. But when the left signal goes on, we expect the car in front of us to turn left. When we put our left signal on, it's probably because we're ready to move left too. Shit like that. Like, once you practice it more, like, you'll just get used to whatever it is for you, and it's different for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I can't say that it's gonna be the same thing. So for you, so that's, and then Ashanet says that's what he tried to do, is rock your boat, but didn't know it was a ship. Yep. And then, like I said, it's all in good purpose, because, like I said, this video was part of the product of the conversation. So even if it doesn't help him wanting to be the center of attention, like we talked about earlier, because of the egomania, is allowing this lesson to be given to the world that's ready to receive it, that has the prerequisites to understand it, and that have contracted to be here at this time to do this type of work, where this is going to add value to their life purpose as well. You see what I'm saying? Somebody right now is dealing with a family member, or they're trapped in a relationship, or they're at a job, you know, all this type of shit. And, you know, this is why I encourage people to share, because even if it's not for you, you may have been brought here to see it so that you can share it, and then somebody's going to see it that you shared it to, that's going to send it to somebody that's going to get it, and it could be life-saving to them. That's why I don't ever pretend to know exactly why, and I'm not going to promise you this is about saving his life. He may be perfectly not wanting to harm himself or anybody else, and he may continue in this fashion of it may be simply egomania for another 20 years, like you said, 1, 5, 10 years, but because of this interaction, we may help somebody get out of a situation that could have been life-threatening, or, you know, toxic at the bare minimum, right? So I focus on the equation, which is the infinity, and I just keep it real. I'm not going to tell you nothing I don't know. I'm okay with telling you I don't know, if I don't know. So I don't know. I can't promise you that, because he went silent at the end. We're almost there. But from what I think it is, I think it did add some value to him. Now, what he does with that is up to him. I saw posts from him today, so he's still with us. So it's all good so far. All right, so yeah. So you see your profile picture, because it's showing that side of you that you want to be seen, and it's hiding another side of you. There's definitely a disconnect from the source, but you've also hidden a side of yourself that you feel like isn't for everyone. You did this to keep the peace, and this is why peace is the center of your obsession. And all you get back is thank you. Right? That's now you see we're making progress. We may not know exactly what the progress is ourselves, but something happened right there. You see, there's a shift. If you look at this as like a graph, right? In the beginning, we were all the way on this side, right? And it was a great defense. It was a full court press, right? And then as it went on, we started to get here, and then, like I said, there was this transition where you started to get messages from the hostage. I'll call it, right? The himself in himself that's being held hostage. We started to hear from the hostage, and now there's moments of like that it's all the way on this side now, like this. Even though it may jump back over here because it's like, oh shit, no. You know what I mean? Like, wait. Shut up, go back. You know what I mean? You got snatched back. So, but this is what we're witnessing. So we got a thank you. So then I said, hey, so these are my thoughts because they are the feelings that you hide inside, which is what you are tending to when you go deep down inside yourself, right? Everything's inside. You're down there tending to that shit because you want to check the locks. You want to make sure the chains is tight, right? This is the other side of you in the picture. These are you. The part you've hidden from yourself, and the world makes you question why God made you this way. So you find fault in God and the higher version of yourself for having to lock part of yourself away inside of yourself on Earth realm in the third dimension. Do you feel like that makes you different from other people? So Avia, here's where that answer that you questioned, or the question you gave earlier was most on my mind. Because he said, while I draw breath, I will always be a man of peace. So my response to that, because I'm in this zone right now, I can't even tell you where I was at, but this energy is connecting. And I said, what almost killed you? And notice, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but we're getting hearts and likes on, hearts on, I'm not saying we're doing it for hearts, but notice that he's hearting certain parts of my conversation. And then we're almost to the end here. So I said, did you almost kill you? Or do you feel like someone ignored and abandoned you, which angered you? Because remember, anger is a part of the egomania too. And then you had to ignore or abandon the anger. Double whammy. Anger is a part of egomania and needing to have the last word, right? To keep the peace. So let me do that without the parentheses there for you. So did you almost kill you, or do you feel like someone ignored or abandoned you, which angered you, and then you had to ignore or abandon the anger to keep the peace, which explains your obsession with peace, right? And left you feeling like you had to kill off a part of yourself, and that's why you blame the Most High and your higher self, because you felt forced to self-sacrifice yourself. Why? And that's where he went silent for a while, right? This was a long period of time. So then so what I did in the absence, in the gap there, is I was like, you know what? Something said pull a tarot card, because, like I said, I'm into the shit, right? So I just shuffled the deck and I pulled a card for you, and I got the star card in reverse, which may indicate pessimism, cynicism, self-doubt, and rejected opportunities. So the star card, now dig this, the star card is 17. And the numbers that he gave earlier, 1, 5, and 10, added up to 16 And 16 in tarot is the Tower. You see what I'm saying? I can't explain this shit. I just kind of know. So, the Tower. So this is becoming more clear. See, the Star card resolves the problems presented in the Tower card. And it's usually after, after usually painful resolution of the obsolete mental constructions that you've seen in the Tower card, there's a new hope. So it reminded me of saying earlier that shield that you keep putting up, holding up, that's the old you. You don't need that anymore. See, the stars in the background are the peaceful, meditative appearance, which makes it no wonder why he's actually so connected with meditation. See, but yet the card came out in reverse, which is where the pessimism, cynicism, and self-doubt and rejected opportunities come into play. That kind of summarizes the earlier parts of our conversation. Now, see, the Hebrew letter for the card is Tasadi, if I'm saying it right. You know, if I'm not, you see the letters there, sound it out yourself. Maybe you speak it better than me. Cool. But the Hebrew letter for the card is Tasadi, which means fish hook. See, you are fishing for something inside. As I mentioned, what you are after is external. This also explains your connection to the simplest level. See, the Star card is the first of 3 cards that spell out the sequence of the path towards greater light, you know, or illumination, right? So the Star card, I'll say that again. The Star card is the first of 3 cards that spell the sequence towards greater light that brings greater clarity. And the order is actually the star, the moon, and then the sun. So yes, that's why I've been feeling you can grow into your enlightenment. Now, yes, faithlessness, right? This must, let's do it like this. So when you look at, when you go further into the research on the 17 and the star, but 17, the Star card is 17. So when you go into the numerology and look up 17/8, because 17 is 8, it gives you all the breakdown. And it says here, if you are a negative 17/8, you are stubborn. Doubts bring on faithlessness and create pessimism so that you can see no promise or light in the world. You see, and I'm going to run through this real quick. Yes, faithlessness, this must have been, you know, why, looking back on it, I'm saying my first post, my first response to your comment, all right, let me start over. Yes, faithlessness. This must have been why my first response to your comment was my song, Results May Vary. That song asked the question in it, I thought you had some faith too. Yes, the pessimism you disguise well. That's why you see no promise beyond your flesh. Now, in philosophy, pessimism is a belief that this world is as bad as it could be, or that evil will ultimately prevail over good. So something in your past have you hiding from yourself, so you can hide part of yourself because you focus on what you think is the worst part of yourself. So when you lock that part away, it left you fishing for something to fill the void, and you are calling that peace. And after all this time, the reason you are still fishing is because you don't realize that you need that part of yourself that you locked away. And the solution to your peace is in your relationship with your higher self vibration. Thank you for the experience. And then I say, we're almost done here. I appreciate you all. And then I say, this completes, because this initial thing was let the real work begin. So you don't understand. This was so magical, because then at the end, I says this completes the real work that needed to begin that you mentioned in your first comment. Thank you for the exercise. You now have the path to healing. So then you get back. If this message sounds new to you, fear not, for it is thousands of years old, right? Here we go with the blessing again, right, Avia? So, the work is done by individuals one-on-one, from one heart to another. Peace has always and will always be mankind's highest achievement. And, you know, the first part up to here, you know, you can give them credit. And then here we go with the limitations and shit. No, peace is not the highest shit. So, but here we go. Hey, I'm not mankind, which is how I've gone higher. Your quote sounds great, more fortune cookie, but it's misdirection. I asked you what disconnected you from the source. See, I'm bringing them back to the question. One of the things you learn when you spent years in the call center is they teach you how to control a call, which is the same thing as controlling a conversation. But they also teach you active listening. You know, when I was at Discover Card, they spent $32,000 for someone to come in and teach me about tone, just tone. So when you look at a college degree, I mean, what are you really getting for the money if they spending $32,000 to teach you tone because you work on the phone and you don't have body language and all this shit? You see what I'm saying? It's all in. All right, so let's close this out here. So I'm not mankind, which is how I've gone higher. Your quote sounds great, more fortune cookie, but it's misdirection. I asked you what disconnected you from source. Who or what ignored you or abandoned you? I thought you were at peace with yourself. But since you can't answer, maybe I was wrong. I thought you had the power of peace. Please excuse me for giving you too much credit based on your public displays of guru. And see, now I'm actually playing to the ego. That was done purposely to feed the ego. Now, if he answers this question, it's gonna be a conflict with itself. And this is why you get the heart. And this is why he didn't respond. And then I reminded him, if you are a negative 17/8, you are stubborn. Doubts bring on faithlessness and create pessimism so that you can see no promise or light in the world. And that's how you ended the conversation. So the conversations you have with others in your circle that you may be helping people with may be about totally different topics. But when you go back and review what we learned today about egomania, needing to get the last word, the people arguing about they follow their mind, their heart, they forgot about their stomach, you know, the intestines, has a mind of its own, or is part of that whole assembly. You want to be whole. The goal is to be whole, holistic. And anytime you extract a part of something from the whole, it's a drug. Pasha Paroh. It's YNet7. Thank you for tuning. I really hope this helped. You know, you saw the value in this. I know we had a lot of comments. I appreciate that on the Facebook. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Share this with somebody that you feel like would help. And it's always the perfect day.